Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the big show. I'm just getting some other streams starting. So if you also want to watch me on any other platforms, you can see me over at DLive. Say you don't like YouTube, you can go over to DLive. You can also go to Twitch and Periscope, Mixer, all kinds of good stuff. But it does take a minute to set all that up, and also over at YouNow. But YouNow, some reason the sound doesn't work all the time. Anyway, let's get down to the hippest trip on the internet. I'm so glad you made it, and I have a pretty exciting topic to talk to you guys about. And I think you guys will also dig this topic. And hopefully my buddy Unirock's going to come in and give me his 2 cents in a little bit about this. Every once in a while, you know, he always, Unirock's always cool like that. He'll come in and bail you out whenever you need a guest, Unirock's around, and I love him for that. Thank you. The thing I wanted to also talk about is that this is going to be a pretty interesting topic, honestly. I'm very excited about this because it is a topic that goes way back. There's a lot of history to this, and I'm before I really get going and fire at all speeds, I'm letting some people come in here. Hey Vicky, oh, and Vicky, thank you so much for the donation. I got it the other day. I think that was you. You're the only Vicky I know, so much appreciated. A lot of love. Thank you. And Fly Miss Claire Ann, hey, nice to see you. So I'm happy everybody's coming in here. I'm just giving a minute for everybody to catch up, and we're going to get into this. So we're going to talk about the third eye. Now, this thing gets thrown around in the New Age culture so much. Like, everybody has their own opinion of the third eye. So I'm going to try to go through some of the most popular theories out there and give you my own personal experience with it and discuss if it's a real thing or if it's just kind of like internet hype that everybody's jumped on the bandwagon for. So hopefully we'll know soon enough after we look at this. And again, it's one of these things that you kind of got to trust your gut, because your gut is what tells you what's going on and what's not, you know? Like, your gut is what I use when I'm sitting here looking at new information. I'm like, is this real? Is this for real? What does it feel right to me? Well, all right. So Vicky, you said you could be a PayPal patron. Thank you. Yeah, PayPal's a good way to go. I'm happy to have your support. Anyway, whatever works for you. I'm thrilled you're doing anything. Hey, Burma, I sent you an email, but I don't think you ever get my emails. I just wanted you to come on the show, but you never responded. So check your email, Burma. If you want to come in later in a little bit, Burma, if you want to add your 2 cents to this topic, I can bring you in with Unirock, but we're going to do it through Discord this time because I'm getting kind of tired of Hangouts. It's very shaky. So let's see if we got enough here to start, and I will start a little presentation here that I put together. I know I'm actually a little organized. Oh yeah, Burma, you don't feel good? You feel crappy? Okay, don't worry. You don't have to come on. Don't worry about it. All right, so let's talk about the third eye. Now, I have actually seen pineal glands. For you guys that don't know, I'm a chiropractor, and before that, you know, I have a degree in anatomy and physiology, and I dissected some bodies. I've spent some times in some morgues, and the pineal gland is really kind of tiny. It is just like a peanut. And the reason and if I haven't really told you yet, we're going to talk about the third eye and the connection of the pineal gland. But for this crowd that's listening, you guys are already hip to a lot of this. But maybe if you've never heard of this before, they say there's a connection between the third eye and the pineal gland, and most people just use them interchangeably. And we're going to explain a little bit about that and how that works. So let's jump over to some stuff I got ready here. So let me go full screen on this. And we're going to start with this picture of some anatomy so you guys know what it is. All right, so the pineal gland, this is a a sagittal view. So in other words, they've cut the brain in half and you're looking at it sideways. So like here would be the front of the skull, here's the back of the skull. This is the pineal gland. It is way, way in the center of your brain. It looks about the size of a peanut. And it is, it's kind of a mystery because it's so far away from the eyes. You know, people are always like, it's the third eye, and they're talking about the top of, in the front of their forehead, but look how far it is here. We're going to explain that connection in a little bit. You'll also hear it referred to as pine cone shaped because the gland kind of looks like a pine cone when you pull it out, and when you cut it up, it looks like a pine cone, and you can see the comparison here, the shape in the pine cone. So, I think that's, let me jump back to me here for a sec. There's a little anatomy lesson for you so you guys can understand where the pineal gland and what it has to do with the third eye. Now, there's different theories, and I don't know if this has ever really been proven, but there's things called referred points. And what that means is when you are you're just getting started in life and you're like a bundle of cells. You start out right next to each other. So your liver kind of starts out right next to your spinal cord, you know, your kidneys, all this stuff. And then as the tissue expands, the nervous system expands with these organs and it connects. So where things kind of started still have a connection to spots on the skin. And you'll know this through, like, you know, acupuncture points or here's a real common example. When people have heart attacks, they always complain about shoulder pain because the heart kind of starts up out in the shoulder. People have gallbladder attacks. They always talk about a pain right behind the shoulder blade in the back of the ribs. The gallbladder was there at some point, well, neurologically connected to that space. So there's referred pain all over the body. In other words, organs that have corresponding skin points to those sections. Well, the pineal gland, they think, I mean, most of the people are agreeing that it's a patch of skin right in front of your head here. So that has a corresponding point to the pineal gland. And what's interesting is on some other animals, like they found, I think it's lizards, I'm not 100% sure of this, but they dissect it and they found input for an eye, like under lizard skin, where, you know, it looks like at some time in the past that maybe there was some sort of third eye vesicle that was there that has gone residual, gone in. And maybe humans were the same way. Maybe at one point we did have a third eye that kind of residualed in. The point is this patch of skin is somehow connected to this pineal gland. And excuse me. Oh, hey, I appreciate you coming over to Twitch and saying hi. Thanks, Andis. Okay, so let me get back to this. Because, let's go back to the screen here. So the pineal gland has a residual connection to that point of the forehead, supposedly. Now, the job of the pineal gland, the real job of it that is recognized is that it is kind of your daytime, nighttime, wake you up, put you to sleep. You see, you have, in your retina, in your eyeballs, you have cells that can detect light, and they send a signal all the way back to the optic centers. And these signals also go through the pineal gland, and the pineal gland, in facto, can detect light. And what it does is, in the daytime, the pineal gland makes serotonin and wakes you up. So serotonin is kind of the feel-good, oh, let's get some things done this morning. You wake up with that kick-ass attitude, that is serotonin. And when the sun goes down, the photoreactors pick it up in your eyes, and they send signals that go through find their way to the pineal gland that tell the pineal gland, okay, it's dark, it's time to kick on the melatonin. So when you shut your eyes and go to sleep, the melatonin helps you go to sleep. It's also linked to lucid dreaming and your dream states. So these two cycles are really important. You need serotonin in the daytime, you need melatonin at night. And this is a big reason people always complain about, don't sleep with a TV in your room, don't sleep with any lights, like try to black out everything you have. You have to make it kind of as dark as possible to get good melatonin production. So that's where we're at with that. The oh, someone's talking about Infinite Waters. Yeah, Infinite Waters is a cool guy. I like him. He's very chill. Andis and Banjojo. I like him. I've sent him an email way back in the day to come on and talk to me, but he never did. I think he's too big now. He's got like 1 million subscribers. But he does talk about some stuff, but I'm going to also kind of go beyond. I'm going to talk about the spiritual and the science behind it. So, scientifically speaking, is there really a third eye? There's definitely residual of something. And the way it works is like an eyeball. So let's talk about this gland a little more, because the pineal gland's a pretty crazy gland. It's different than all the other glands. Okay, the pineal gland, again, if you're just coming in, center of the brain. So it gets light signals kind of de facto through the eyeballs. But what's interesting is the pineal gland actually has cells in it that can detect light. So when they cut a pineal gland, it has things that resemble Conan rods in it. And excuse me, my eyes. The pineal sites are there are these cells that kind of resemble cones and rods, and some people even go far as to say that the pineal gland does have cones and rods and even a retina where it can detect light. So it works like an eyeball, and it does have a connection to the optic center, so it can wire itself right into the optic center, which is pretty amazing that this thing that isn't an eyeball has all the pieces of an eyeball, just sitting in there. But it has a lot more stuff that your eyes don't do. The gland is actually filled with water. It has fluid in it, but it also has crystals that are basically made of DMT. So dimethyltryptamine, and that's also the drug that some people take, like in ayahuasca or mushrooms. We're going to get into that. So if you've heard of DMT, that's what it is. So these are crystals, and these crystals are very unusual. These crystals inside the pineal gland can, let me jump back here. The crystals in the pineal gland are piezoelectric. So, and that's a southern term, piezoelectric, because people call it piezoelectric, but for down south we say piezoelectric. What that means is that it is a crystal that when you deform this crystal, it puts out electrical charge. And things like watches run on piezoelectricity, and quartz crystals, and you deform the crystal and it creates electricity. Those little crystals in the pineal gland create electricity, which is amazing, right? But they also do some other crazy stuff that's hard to believe, because they also illuminate. They're piezoluminaries. So when you compress these crystals, they create not only electricity but light. And they're piezochromatic, which means that not only do they create light, they create colored light, and all kinds of different colors depending on the crystalline shape and the force. And it's really interesting that that there's these kind of crystals, DMT, that can produce electricity, light, and color. I mean, so think about that. Like, if you vibrate these crystals, they glow rainbows inside your brain. That's very, very different than like your pancreas or any other organs. It has these really cool crystals in there. So that's what makes these glands so different. That the pituitary gland has fluid with DMT crystals that, when they vibrate, can create electricity, light, and colors. Pretty wild, right? That this goes on, and is tied to your optic centers. So you'll hear that when people take DMT drugs, right, that they can they will see different colors and patterns, and people trip on mushrooms or whatever, that it opens up a rainbow of colors, and they think it has to do with activating these DMT crystals too. Yeah. Let's see here. You said, Andy says, serotonin is such an issue. I up it significant. I think that's what it says. Significantly. Now I worry if it interferes with my spiritual growth in the pineal gland. Now, we'll talk about this because, Andy, we're going to get back to that. There's lots of things that screw up serotonin and melatonin production. Lots of things we do like every day. And we're going to talk about some strategies on how to make that better. And what's interesting is, I want to get back to this because if you're coming in a little late, you got this pineal gland that can actually, the crystals in it, the DMT crystals inside the pineal gland, in this fluid, they float around, vibrate, produce electricity, colors, and light that go right into the optic nerves, the optic centers. So that means all we really got to do is put some sort of vibration or stimulate this in to get that effect. Now, let's talk about the third eye in spirituality. You guys have probably seen this before, maybe if you're not, but there's kind of the Eye of Ra, the Egyptian Eye of Ra here, that they say kind of resembles the brain, a sagittal section of the brain. And obviously, all these old cultures dissected brains and looked at them and stuff, and they would have been able to see this. But the Eye of Ra, you can kind of see they're trying to compare the corpus callosum and the thalamus and the hypothalamus, the medulla oblongata. Pretty interesting comparison. It's kind of a neat theory that I think maybe they're onto something, maybe they're not. But it seems that ancient cultures definitely knew about this, because if we look at something like the Sumerians, or this is I think this is some sort of Buddhist, I forgot where I got this, I think it was Africa, that they have pictures of guys with third eyes, right? The third eye's kind of sideways, but there's the third eye. And this is an old Anunnaki carving where he's holding a pine cone. And you'll see that there's this running theme of pine cone with spiritual figures. You'll see like Buddhas wearing pine cone hats. You'll see pine cones in Christianity. You'll see pine cones in Greek mythology. And you have to ask yourself, why do pine cones keep showing up everywhere? And is it possible that these spiritual paintings and statues and stuff that are all wrapped around pine cones have some sort of, maybe the old cultures knew something we didn't, some sort of spirituality? And I think it's pretty neat little coincidence. I don't know if that's why he's holding a pine cone or not, but it'd be neat to think it is. So let's talk about, oh boy, you guys are already diving into it on the chat here. This is just, oh man, all right, I'll have to get back to you on that stuff. All right, we're gonna get back to that when I'm done presenting. So the way it ties in again to the third eye is that I feel, if you missed the beginning of the show, it's theorized that there was a residual patch of skin that can detect stuff. And if you guys ever studied energy flow, and different places have different ideas on this, but most kind of holistic medicine agrees that there's some sort of flow around you. Some people think it goes from back to front. Others people go front to back. Some think it's like a torus. I myself, I did something called contact reflex analysis back when I was a chiropractor a little bit. I played with it for a few years. And it's kind of like applied kinesiology, where you're using points on the skin and they coordinate to different electrical points on the body. So in other words, you create a circuit. You kind of touch a energy point in an organ and you test how strong it is in between. And like, you know, you can do muscle testing. And for what that's worth, I do believe in it. I do believe that it works. I saw it work. But one thing that always came up in all these different things was, and I don't know if it's true for acupuncture, but I know CRA and applied kinesiology, all this, that they said that the chimney of the body's energy is through the pituitary. And that when they would do muscle testing, they always had to start with the pituitary spot and turn it on or off to get it to before you could see what was going on in the body. It is where the energy flow goes through your body and comes out. It is the chimney. So if that thing is blocked, energy flow needs to flow. It should never be stagnant. It's like water, life, mana, prana, whatever the hell you think it is. Energy has to come in and out of your body like air. So if your chimney is blocked, where the energy is not blowing out like it's supposed to be blowing out, that's bad. Too much energy is bad. You in a word, kind of dry your nerves out and burn them up. You shouldn't be creating so much electricity that you can't get rid of it. And that's another going from the. I wanted to throw those 2 cents in there because I don't know how many people really talk about that. So, is there? I mean, to me, I feel the third eye is real. There's enough real science backing it up that there's a lot of strange things about the pineal gland that don't exist anywhere else in the body. I mean, you have a gland that glows rainbows when you vibrate it and put pressure into it. And you will see that there's certain frequencies that this thing likes and it vibrates at. And one of the big ones is 528, which you've heard of. We've talked about that in the show before. It's kind of the frequency that DNA likes. Excuse me. It's the frequency that DNA likes to do its thing at. 528 is where it likes to vibrate. And you can actually buy tuning forks that are 528. And if you want to hear what it sounds like, I'll pop it here. I'll be quiet. So that's 528. And that is supposed to be a very healthy frequency. Also, people do think that since it lines up with the chakras, that it's the 6 chakras frequency. And I forgot what that is, but it's somewhere in the thousands, some sort of 1,000 frequency that you can also get it to vibrate at that frequency, at that chakra frequency. Now, that being said, there's so many people that have correlated this through ancient times in history that there has to be something to it. There's entire cultures, like the Hindus talk about something called Ashona, the chakra, Ashona chakra, which is kind of like their third eye. There's the Buddhists have referred to it. Even I think there's references to seeing with an eye in the Bible. I'm not a Bible guy. I'm not positive about that. But in ancient Greek cultures talk about it. The Sumerians talk about it. Anunnaki, all this stuff. So there's so much talk, and which makes me feel that there has to be something to it for it to survive thousands of years. These descriptions for thousands of years. Why would those have survived if there wasn't something to it? Now, that being said, there are lots and lots and lots of testimonials about people unlocking their pineal glands. And we're going to talk, what do you mean unlock your pineal gland? Well, what happens is, just like areas in your body, things can plaque that and get there that aren't supposed to be there. Like aluminum can set up in your body, heavy metals can plaque into different areas. There's certain glands attract different heavy metals than others. The pineal gland seems to be very sensitive to sodium chloride. excuse me, sodium fluoride. Fluoride, I meant. And that is one of the big ones that people will constantly talk about. Fluoride, 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 fluoride. And that they even say, now I've never seen this, but they say that if you dissect humans that drink fluorinated water, that there's like a fluoride crust around the pineal gland when you dissect them, that it calcified. They call it calcification. So I know that sounds strange saying, you know, how do you decalcify fluoride? But, but that's what they call it, calcification. So they, depending on how conspiracy you go, was it on purpose? Was it not? There's an amazing article. I should have pulled it up that Kate wrote about fluoride. It's the best article I've ever read on the internet. Most comprehensive, unbelievable history of how fluoride got into the water. Something like 100 sources cited. It's the best I've ever seen out there. And I should put that up because people don't realize that Kate was a holistic hygienist, a dental hygienist that, and she basically couldn't find anywhere to work because she was anti-fluoride and anti-mercury, and that's hard to do in a dental world. So anyway, you guys are just harassing me. I'll stop and talk to you for a sec because you guys are just all right. Take me out of my flow here for a sec. You guys, where's my man bun? Thanks, Burma. So you guys, yeah. I use water filters, and there is oh man, I think it's called Crystal Quest. I'll link it. I'll see if I find the link and put it in the description on Amazon for Crystal Quest. It is, I think, the most affordable and the best way to remove fluoride from the water. Those I've had one that lasts like 3 years for drinking water. So anytime I cook or I drink, I always filter the fluoride. I even like to get a shower filter, and it does seem to matter. A lot of people say they do certain things to try to uncalcify their pineal gland so it works right. Now, you know, there's a whole nother theory, and I'll bring Unirock on about this, of did they put fluoride in the water on purpose to keep people from spiritually connecting, to dumb down and keep the pineal connection quieted? Because when you do wake it up, it is a pretty amazing experience. There's people, heck, even in my comments, just for the invite of the show, someone was saying that they did all this stuff to unlock their pineal gland, and they heard a crack in the skull, and the TV flickered. It put out electricity blast. Now, remember what I said about the piezoelectric effect, that little gland really does make electricity. You can, so if it unlocks, it could really make like an electrical charge burst out. If it's all encapsulated by some sort of fluoride, calcification, and it cracked open, the electricity would maybe come out. I mean, I don't doubt that. So the people have described it as they're hearing cracks, or all of a sudden they get a rush of spirituality or a rush of energy. And since this thing can create rainbows in your head, you will see colors in tunnels and pathways and all kinds of stuff in DMT. So, see, White Rabbit says, Dr. Lupo, I heard fluoride was a byproduct of the refinement process to produce aluminum and were typically used and found in nature. Not sure. Yeah, I mean, again, you need to go look at Kate's article. It's like super, super crazy. But the fluoride was a poisonous product that some bad people decided to cleverly market to, because they used to have to pay to get rid of the waste, and now they just sell it and put it in toothpaste. they snowballed the dental industry, and the studies are so questionable on what everybody refers to why chloride works is such a BS study. You'd have to go back to where it originated. It's crazy. And also, fluoride does keep enamel, but it's extremely poor quality enamel. It's like this gray, brittle teeth. It's not good quality. So it's kind of like when people take osteoporosis drugs. Yes, on X-ray it'll look like they have more bone, But the problem is the bone is this crappy brittle bone that breaks really easy. It's not live bone anymore. It's just a bunch of dead bone stuck in there. It's so yes, you can trick an X-ray, but it's a good quality, and it's kind of the same thing. Woo, you guys got me going today. All right, so let's talk about. Oh, I need to see if anybody's talking to me on D Live. Sorry if I'm ignoring you. I didn't mean to ignore you over at D Live. Hi guys. Let's talk about that. What happens when you unlock this is that a lot of people say it is, since this is such an unusual gland that ties into your brain, it's the center of your brain, the center, some people say it's like the seat of your soul, that it is the pathway that your consciousness uses to go to the other side and back. And it's interesting when you talk to people or you go listen to religious experiences or people who even trip on drugs, they all have the same experience. It's crazy that it's like either a silver cord or a tunnel, or they'll hear a booming sound as they leave their bodies and cross over to the other side. And it also, like when people take DMT and stuff, it floods that pathway open. That is another way. And I mean, again, I'm not on here trying to promote like hallucinogenic drugs or whatever, but there are people that meditate their entire life and only have a few moments where they've connected, and then, you know, in 30 minutes they can go eat mushrooms and blow that door wide open. So take that for what it said, but you know, there's a reason all the shamans in past history, people used psychedelic drugs to reach that when they're blocked. Now, some people aren't blocked at all and they can reach it. The other things that screw you up, though, is remember that this is a gland that runs on serotonin and melatonin. So, you know, it does other things with daylight, turning you up, making you feel good, putting you to sleep. And the thing is, it's really easy to disrupt your serotonin through diet. And I'm going to sound like a damn broken record because every time I get on here, I'm like, it's inflammation, inflammation, inflammation. An inflammatory American diet causes your massive endocrine disruption, including your brain. So it is a big reason why people can't spiritually connect. Why do you think that every religious text, when people really want to pray, what do? They fast and pray. They don't eat. They don't inflame their bodies. They go fast and they pray. And there's a long, long history of fasting to clear out your neural pathways so they work right. Take the inflammation out of your brain. Okay, I am going to invite Unirock and Burma. You're not feeling so good, so if you guys will give me a minute, I'm going to put this on so I can get Unirock. Hopefully he's paying attention, and I have not connected with someone with this new setup, so hopefully the sound works and everything works okay. So let's see what happens here. Give me 1 minute. We're trying to actually use Discord to connect, so it'll be a minute. Oop. Let me play a little music for you while you chill for a sec. You guys can talk to each other all you like. Oh, well, I was gonna play some music, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. I'll just have to sing. Let's see if I can get Unirock on here. And so if you guys have your own theories and questions, we can talk about pineal glands and how to decalcify them and how to get to. I've got some more stuff we're going to be doing, but I don't see Unirock, so I guess we'll just go on without him for a bit until he decides to come on in. So he sometimes doesn't pay attention very well. Like he'll be doing his own thing. So let me go on then about this. All right. So let me answer some of your guys' questions. All right. So Uni Rock, you're welcome to come in whenever you stop eating or doing whatever you're doing. Marina, ciao Bella, right? I got Italian fans. I love them. I leave my body, but it just remembered to go out and coming back from the universe. So you have outer body experiences, and I think that a lot of people, especially this crowd that listens, is pretty hip, has either had some sort of out-of-body experience or a near-death experience or just crossed over the other side one way or another. And they know it. It's funny because if you've done it, if you've crossed over, you know that the other side is, even though we might see it a little different, it's always kind of the same similar story. It's fascinating that so many people have the same experience from different cultures and times. Like you can go back and read books hundreds of years old of people that have, that meditated their way, and they're describing the other side the same way you saw it, and stuff that you would never have seen. Like when I crossed over, I had an experience where I crossed over and I didn't know these things, and then as I studied after I came back, I was like, yes, that's what that guy said. Yes, this guy's seen it. This guy's seen it. And you talk to people, and you just know. You just know. Oh, Burma says, sorry, Dr. Lupo. No, don't be sorry. You just derailed my flow, girl. You derailed my flow. Sir Kenny, hey, man, and he hate me. Thanks for coming in, guys. Let's see. What else? Yeah, sounds good. Decalcifying. All right, so let's talk about decalcifying. There's different ways people say to decalcify. The way this kind of worked for me is vibration. Remember how I talked about that this gland actually has crystals that will vibrate? You can use a tuning fork like this, put it either on your teeth, and you'll hear like a high pitch. You'll actually feel it going in your skull. Or you can actually put it right on the skull. You can use vibration to try to knock it loose. You can, there's something, if you don't have something like this, you can look up 528 meditations and put some headphones on and let that thing shake your skull, man. You want the vibrations to vibrate that gland at the vibration and frequency it likes. And when you do that, it starts stimulating it and getting it. Some people say it helps it break through the calcified fluoride coating. Other people have done tapping, where they send vibrations in through tapping. But a lot of this is heavy metal removal. There are certain greens, like you could go crazy on the greens and eat a lot of kale, watercress, spinach, things that soak up heavy metals to try to move that stuff out. And obviously, don't add any more fluoride. Any water you touch shouldn't have fluoride in it. And your toothpaste, I use something called Epic toothpaste. I really like them. They put xylitol in their toothpaste, which is like significantly better than chloride at killing bacteria and keeping your mouth healthy. It's really, really good. It's probably the best toothpaste. It's called Epic, and you want to get the fluoride free. They just some reason they still sell fluoride, but they also sell a fluoride free that's really good. Epic. Again, I should just link all this in my Amazon. If you're gonna buy it, go through my Amazon link. I'd appreciate it, because my Amazon link's not doing so good. I haven't talked about it in a long time. So if you're still shopping, please connect through the Amazon. It does make a difference. There's my 2-second plug. Okay, so let's talk about. Denny says hallucinogens, lots and lots of them. Just saying. Combat medic perk. Oh, he's a combat medic. Yeah, he probably got a few of those. And that's fascinating to me, that these chemicals that are illegal, like mushrooms and LSD and ayahuasca and all that stuff, everything that's illegal that gives you like a connection to the higher source, Why do you think it's illegal? I mean, come on now. There's something to be said that they don't want you to do that. Like if everybody tripped mushrooms or something, you wouldn't have war anymore. There would be people that are you'd realize we're all connected and this is all just a simulation down here, and we're just it completely changes people. So again, I'm not promoting it, but I am also not going to deny that it has huge benefits for some people. And then some people can get there just through prayer and meditation. Man, they do it. They pray, and they get there. They get the right vibration. And you know that it's funny because if you talk to like the dudes that do yoga and the Kundalini and stuff, that when they go Om, that sends a vibration through the whole body. And it is also that vibration supposed to shake the pineal gland if you hit it right. And I went to a really interesting thing where I did. I sat in this lady came with a bunch of bowls, and she would sing, and there was like a whole class of people just laying down, and she would play like 15 bowls at the same time and hit these tones, and you could feel your whole body, your inside vibrate. It was wild. Unfortunately, that stuff doesn't come up here anymore, but when I was in Savannah, those people would come through. It was really neat. Okay, Banjojo, you may not be able to find find what on a website, but I prefer bottled water. There's no chance. Yeah, bottled water is usually a good way to go, as long as they're, that's the thing though. Fluoride's a real bitch to get out of the water. It's hard to filter out. You need a good filter to do it. There's even people that say sometimes it gets through distilled water, which I don't understand how it can get through steam, but I don't know. I had vegan on it. He drinks nothing but distilled water, and he says that it does knock the fluoride out, but then there's some people that say it doesn't. So I don't really know. I just use a huge ass fluoride filter. It's like a foot high. It's made by Crystal Quest. Let me see. Maybe I can find it. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll show you the exact one I use on Amazon. I did a lot of research, and I think it's the best price for... it's really hard to find something strong enough that can pull fluoride out of the water that isn't outrageously expensive. I'm getting there. Water filter. Let me see if I can get this. I'm a slow typer, guys. Let's see if they got it on Amazon. One sec, guys. I'm pulling it up so you guys can see it. Yeah, here we go. So I'm gonna swing it over to this, and you guys can see that the Crystal Quest, you can either get an under the shelf kind. I have one that just sits on the counter, and it takes 3 different filters to actually get the fluoride out practically. This is the one I use. It looks like this. This is about 144 bucks. And it has 3 towers, and one of them is just for fluoride. So, yeah, it can be done. And then let me see if I can find Epic toothpaste so you can get an idea what that looks like. Epic. And again, I can link all these in the description too later. You just click them. Toothpaste, xylitol. And you want to find the fluoride free here, right here, Epic Dental toothpaste. This stuff's awesome. And, Kate is a Nazi about dental health. Being a holistic hygienist, living with a holistic hygienist, I've learned this is the only thing she'll use is the xylitol kind. So, there you go. There's your lesson for today on removing fluoride from your diet. Yeah, Freddie says the best way to decalcify is to get a fluoride filter and install it in your water main. I would love to have one in my water main, but they're very expensive. I had to kind of just do one under 200 bucks to get that done. Fun entertainment. Hey, Doc, third eye is real. Please explain. Oh, man, you must have missed the first 30 minutes of the show. I did a whole presentation on how the science works. You'll have to go back and look. We really went into it there. Yeah, I think you might have come in a little late. But I'll show you some more pictures if you guys want to see them again. So, just as a real quick thing here, the pineal gland is in the middle of your brain. There's some sort of relationship to the patch of skin between your forehead, residual relationship, and also through the eyes, obviously. What's crazy about the pineal gland is it has multiple things going on in it. It has something that resembles cones and rods, pinealocytes, just like your eyeballs, and they also have kind of a retinal tissue so they can detect light. Even though this thing's way deep in your brain, it can still detect light. And those signals get passed usually through the eyeballs to make serotonin and melatonin to put you to sleep and wake you up. But the pineal gland looks a lot like a pine cone when you cut it up. And for ancient history, they've always talked about it being pine cone shaped. And then the pine cone shows up in all kinds of ancient literature, like here's an Anunnaki holding a pine cone and third eye statues there. And even some people say that the Egyptian Eye of Ra is based around the pineal gland and a cutaway of the brain. So there's the 10-second catch up. And Uni Rock never showed up. So what's up, Uni? What's up? Where are you? All right. Let's see. My thoughts on the Rife machine. Now, I've owned a Rife machine and used it on patients. I even have a small one somewhere. I don't know where it is. I have like a pocket-sized one. I've used full-blown Rifes with like, xenon gas coils that light up and stuff. I never, although I do feel the Rife is good for chronic infections and things like that, parasites, I have never tried to decalcify my pineal with it. I've never like put it up to my forehead and blasted away. I've never tried that. So I don't really have a lot of experience with that. I imagine if you set, they have ones that you can adjust frequencies. If you set it at the right frequency, maybe you can do that. And there's two theories on the frequency. The 528, repairs DNA and gets DNA working, so it kind of works everywhere. And then there's another frequency just for the chakra, and I can't remember the exact. Maybe one of you guys can look it up. Put like 6 chakra frequency and find out what the number is. It's somewhere in the 1,000. I forgot what it is. So yeah, maybe there's a way to do that. I think what you need to do though, honestly, is get the inflammation out of your brain. Get the inflammation out of your brain. Get the inflammation out of your brain. Get the inflammation fast. Every time people really get deep and want to connect with the other side, they fast. Doesn't matter what religion. Doesn't matter what time period. You got ancient shamans to Jesus fasting to Muhammad fasting to Buddha fasting to... Why do all these people fast when they want to have a spiritual experience? Because it takes the inflammation out of their brain. It makes the neurotransmitters work right. Makes your brain a lot more receptive to the connection above and below. Foods here is really a physical distraction. It's not... it's like a necessary evil here, in a way. Not that food can't bring an enormous amount of pleasure, but as far as the spiritual connection, you're a spiritual being just driving around this meat suit. You're not, this is an avatar here. This is just a projection into this reality. You're so much more than this thing that we're sitting here talking with. You're here because you want the experience of what it feels like to be in this physical reality. There are a lot of pleasures, and there's a lot of sadness and grief and sorrow and the whole gamut, but you're here to experience it. All right. Mr. Kenny says we're all prisoners here. That's in your mind, dude. You're this infinite being here in this existence, just in this meat suit. We are in this reality, although it feels like we're prisoners sometimes. You don't have to be here. This is a classroom, a learning experience. Once you're out of here, you can go anywhere you want to go. So it might feel like we're prisoners here, but you signed up to come in here, and this is the experience we're having. And that is doesn't have to be a negative thing. Yes, it feels very much like the world is controlled by bad guys and we're just like allowed to exist. But that is not reality, man. That's not. The reality is you are this infinite powerful being that's just down here in your virtual avatar. You're just experiencing this. None of this crap's real here. This is about as real as a video game. You know, you're so overwhelmed and this is in our face in this moment right now. Though the greatness of this reality is it tricks us to make us forget what we are, so we're completely immersed in this game. Okay, think of it like I'm a gamer, and there's some video games I get so into that I forget everything around me. I forget that I'm in a room. I forget that, you know, I'm wearing clothes. I forget that I'm a person. I'm sucked into this game. And then when I die in the game and I pop out, all of a sudden I become aware of all this around me again. And I'm like, oh yeah, I was in a game. That was fun. Damn, that was a tough way to die. That one was a good one. You know, you laugh about it. And you're like, do I want to play again? Okay, I'll sign up and go back in. That's what this is, this reality, man. So if you focus on that life sucks and we're prisoners and this reality is, you know, we're cattle here that are just here to please the elite and be milked for our energy, and not that stuff's not true to an extent, but it is set up this way for this experience, because without the negative you don't get to understand how good the positive is. There has to be death, destruction, evil, bad things in this, because if it is nothing but good, you don't realize what's good anymore. It's like trying to tell someone what hot is without knowing what cold is. There's always a dichotomy in life, black and white, you know, there's a yin yang. And that has to exist down here in this reality for us to have this experience. So the problem, you know, what's happening though, and this is just my theory, is, you know, we've been going through cycles of this over and over, and you play this game. Your memory gets erased when you go in, so you'll be immersed into this game and you don't get distracted. Because if you knew you were playing the game, you wouldn't get as much out of it. You'd be like, you know, it'd be like if you're very aware you're playing a video game compared to if you're sucked into a video game. You get a lot more out of it when you immerse yourself in the experience. So while you're here, you're getting this experience and you're trying to understand and learn stuff. And it's one of the questions is like, why would I go into a reality where evil exists and bad things? And because it's like a video game. When I play a video game, sometimes I get bored of playing the good guy and I go play the bad guy. You know, I don't want to play the good Jedi anymore. I want to play the Sith. And I try that out and I be a bad guy in the game. But when I come out, that doesn't make me a bad guy because I played a Sith. You know, when I cross over back up to consciousness, it's just like I just decided to be bad that time around because I played this game 1,000 times. I want to try different experiences. And the bad guys are here for a reason, to help us grow and have lessons. And there has to be some bad in order for us to rise above it and become good. But what's crazy, I keep going back to this and I keep forgetting to say it, is the mass consciousness of this video game, of this place, is changing and it's getting higher and higher. And there's different theories on this. You know, there has to be a low enough vibration in this reality to keep it in this kind of classroom. But what happens is so many people come in and raise the vibration up and up and up, they can't stop it. And this reality blows apart. And weird glitches start happening in this reality. And things start vibrating too high and it can't be in this physical plane anymore. And we're crossing that. That is starting. And there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. You know, that is happening now. So what we're trying to stop distract. I just keep looking at this. Okay. I'll take it out. I'll take it back. You guys are jumping in before I finished here. All right, Mr. Kinney says the Great Awakening is upon us. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is something's happening, and And one of the theories I talked about a long time ago that came to me was that I was like one of the first guys to start talking about how the Schumann resonance was raising. And I said, what happens when the Schumann resonance starts vibrating at the same frequency as your pineal gland? Where all of a sudden it blows everybody's pineal glands open at the same time. It vibrates them free of all this stuff. And everybody starts having connections around the world to their spiritual self. That's happening. That's coming. Has it happened yet? I think it's in transition. I don't think we're there yet. But it's starting. Some people are very sensitive and didn't need much, just a little budge, and they've woke up. And the Great Awakening is coming. So that is happening. It's a mass shift of consciousness. And what happens is I think that mass shift of consciousness ends this game here. It ends this reality. This reality has to be a low vibration for it to exist. So if everybody starts cranking the vibration up too high, this place falls apart and you have to start a new reality. So what'll happen is people will wake up all at once and remember they're in a big game, you know, in a short time period, and they'll go and this reality will blow apart, and the people that are really, really stuck in low realities are going to stay here and keep playing. And then when you get to the other side, you'll choose again. You'll be like, ah, man, we solved that game. We beat that game. It's time, I guess, we restart a new game. And there'll be a new reality that starts up, and this time you'll choose some differences. You'll say, you know, I didn't like this about last reality. I want this in this reality, you know. I want my cat to be able to talk, and you'll have talking cats. It'll be great. So, for some of us that have already woke up and seen this, that you're still here though, because we have to do it as a mass consciousness to completely break this reality. But for some of us that have woke up, you get an idea of glitches and patches in reality that you notice that you don't see them, everybody else seems to notice around you. And then when me and you talk, we go, yeah, you know, I thought I was crazy, but I've seen shadow people too. You know, I've seen glitches in reality. I looked up and saw two suns once. You know, like, what the hell's going on when you see two suns? And then I talked to some people here, and they're like, no, you're not crazy. That's totally what I saw. So there are some of us that have the gland, I think, open enough to start seeing this reality starting to unravel. And I think it's a good thing. All right, so what am I missing here? Is the chat all alive with, hey man, you're wrong. Let's see. Yeah, this is tough, guys, because I know my own truth from my own experiences, and it might be a little different than your truth, and that's okay. Because my reality I create, you create your reality, and they don't have to necessarily be the same. I know that's a weird concept. Like, how can we live in different realities but share the same place? We can. It's like being again on a video game, but there's different servers. That I have my own world of people that see what I see, and I'm in my own server, and you're on your own server, and sometimes we come out of those servers or mixed servers or jump back and forth servers, and we interact. So that's what's up. Whoa, Robert, I got some Asian going on. I never got an Asian comment. Cool. I don't know what it means, but thank you. Oh yeah, I got a donation and I was on a rant. I didn't. Let me see who sent that, because I really appreciate. Oh, Crypto Starling, thank you so much for. Oh, Canada. I got Canadian money. That's extra cool. I call it Canada. Burma says, I will come for you. I don't know what you're talking about, Burma. What are you talking about? Oh, man. I'm lost in this live chat. I'm completely lost. All right. So, that was the big lesson on the third eye. And I do believe that it is real. I do believe that maybe at one time there's some sort of residual stuff. Like, why do you have photoreceptors in the middle of your brain instead of your eyeballs? You know, there's things that look like cones and rods and retinal tissue in the pituitary gland, in this gland that has DMT crystals that vibrate and create electricity, the piezoelectric effect, piezoluminary effect, you know, piezochromatic effect. They can create rainbows and colors. I mean, what is that about? What does a gland in the middle of your brain need to create rainbows for? What is going on? So to me, yeah, this is obviously something that is left over. That is, it's got to be some the bridge. I think the physical bridge to cross over. It is where your soul comes in and your soul goes out through this area. At least in my experience, that's what I feel like. Am I right? I don't know. I'm guessing like the rest of you. But we all have our own truth and reality, and that's what mine is at this moment, is I do feel that happens. But again, I base it on thousands of years of other people saying, yeah, this is the gateway. And so that's pretty wild to me. Email, I did check. Oh, Burma. Oh, yeah, I sent you an email yesterday. So yeah, it's there. But if you want to come in, I thought you were sick. You said you didn't want to come in. Do you want to come in now? I didn't understand what you meant. I was coming. Okay. If you want to jump in, meet me at Discord. I'm gonna bring you in through Discord. So Burma, just confirm with me you want to come in, and I'll drop you. I'll bring you in through Discord. We're gonna try that. Okay. You'll get a call from me in a sec. So for you guys, I'll give you something to look at. You can talk amongst yourselves. Which one do you want to look at here? You can look at this one. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get Miss Burma, who's going to jump on me and tell me I'm wrong. Let's see. All right, Burma, I'm bringing you in via Discord. You're going to see a request for a movie. Done movie request. So, if you guys are interested, though, please feel free to drop any theories you like. You know, like I said, I don't know all the answers, that's for sure, but I do know some truths for myself that I feel, and you guys will have your own truths. You know, something will set right with you what I'm saying, and something might not set right. So, okay, Burma is not coming in on Discord. Okay, I'm going to try to call you one more time. Let's try it again. Doop. And Miss Burma, are you there?
Hey, yes.
I can hear your voice, but do you want to come in via?
You can't see me.
No, I don't see a camera yet. Are you coming in?
Hold on a second. Let me turn up. I took Discord off of my computer.
Oh, are you doing this through your phone?
Yeah, so I have to do it through my phone.
Oh, okay. If not, we can do a hangout, but it's a big pain for me to do that live to set it all up. I have to go back and set that up. Ah, there we go.
Is that better?
Okay, let's see if everybody can see you. And can they hear you? That's the big question. Can you guys hear Burma? And let me know if you can. I don't know if they can see you or not. I'm not sure.
And I can't, on this, I can't, like, look at what they're typing.
No.
Like I said, I took it off of my computer.
Can they hear you guys? Can you guys give us some feedback if you hear Burma or not? I'd appreciate that. I don't think they... I don't know.
Hello?
Can you guys...
Hear me?
I don't know. I think they're behind too low volume. Okay. Let me turn you up. Keep talking, Burma.
It's too low?
How about that
That's
now?
weird. Okay.
I've turned it up. No, it's not you. It's my end.
Hello? Hello, hello. You guys hear me?
I think that they do. Let's see if I can blow you up.
Hello?
This picture's
Yeah, right.
too small.
Then somebody with headphones is gonna be like, oh my God, I can't hear anything now.
Okay, they said you're good now. All right, so go ahead and give me your
Okay.
2 cents on You work actually in Reiki, so why don't you talk about Reiki and what's up with that? Like, or whatever your 2 cents are about the third eye, because I've had some experience with contact reflex analysis, but I'm not an energy worker. So, where you at?
Um, I I mean, the pineal gland, oh my goodness, like that the whole energy thing. Yeah, I mean, you were saying how like it goes so much more than just how we I'm trying to find my words here. Like when you're working in an energy field, you definitely feel different sensations. I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like a thickness or like heat that comes up from different parts of the body. Um, Researching the I have a friend that calls it this other gland, which is funny because I never can pronounce it right. The pineal gland, or however you want to pronounce it. That there's a correlation with that and it being calcified. Like, I think that's part of my issue, that when I was young, I drank a lot of fluoride water and I don't have that connection. I think there needs to be somewhat of a breakthrough. Although I think you're right about the fasting, but unfortunately there are some people out there that really have a tough time fasting like you do. You know what I mean? Like, you fast, you have you can do it for days. And for me, I get this sugar thing going on that I feel really, if you got the time, do it, and you are not working, I think that fasting is awesome. But if you're, you know what I mean? But like, if you have to work, like I have to work and I'm a
Yeah.
body worker, I can't fast because I need
Well,
I need the food for the energy to fuel me.
you gotta,
So
yeah, you gotta build up to it, and because when I started, I would only do like half day fasts and stuff like that, and eventually you build up to it, and then if there's some people that really have wacky sugar levels that it's hard for them to do. I get it. Not everybody can do it, but you could also. There's no reason you can't eat a ton of green leafy things to pull the metals out.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there's really
actually,
no
when
excuse
you're
on
saying
that.
that, when you were saying that, I noticed that when I started doing, like, I have the NutriBullet thing, so I started doing the whole like leafy, like kale and stuff like that, and I never even realized how like incredible I felt during that time. So I think you're absolutely right like that. But I also think that there are some people, who knows if that's calcified so much in their brain, if they need major breakthrough like ayahuasca or DMT, right? So yeah, I'm not suggesting that anybody does it. I'm just saying that, maybe that's a thing, because
Yeah,
I've done multiple things to try to open mine. I know that I'm not connected in the way that I should be,
right.
and I do believe that that can be type of nefarious thing. They started back, I mean, they did that in the in the concentration camps. They were dumping tons of fluoride in the water to make people more docile. And if they had done that on purpose, if they have done that on purpose, it makes sense to not, because then they bring in religion to help, to here, we're going to guide you, instead of you having your direct connection, which we all do, which we all should, right?
Yeah,
Makes a lot of sense.
that's really wise because, when people realize that they can connect with their higher self or consciousness or however they see it, their God, it takes the control out of the standard religious. What am I trying to say? The organized religious culture that tells you that are a gateway that you have to go to church to talk to your God. So by being able
Yeah.
to do that directly, and again, I'm with you. I think back in the day, before there was an effort to dumb down and keep everybody docile, I think people were much more connected. Like if you go talk to shaman, like or old, like I knew some Indian guys that their grandfathers could see spirits and interact, and then through the more and more people bought into society, the more they, ate the crappy food and drank the poison water and all that stuff, the less spiritual they became. Where now it's like super rare, and you're crazy if you see, shadow people or a ghost or something like that.
Angels.
Angels, yeah, whatever your flavor. So yeah, go ahead, take it.
I think that you don't necessarily have to have the pineal gland. I can't do it. To be completely open for you to see things like that, because I definitely see a lot of things, and I know that mine's not completely open.
No,
So I
but
think that
it's probably more open.
this.
I, I think there's a
maybe a little bit.
process. I think there's a process, and then some people have it below open. I think there's also like a slow leak open. It depends on what it is.
Yeah, that's probably where I am.
And a
That's
lot,
probably a slow leak.
unfortunately, it has come down to where a lot of people just have to use psychedelic drugs to just blow that thing open.
Yeah, I
Because
hear
it's
that.
really hard to reach it with fasting and prayer now, where it used to be a lot easier before we lived in, we live in a toxic sewage world.
Well, I would say that if people are interested in doing this, that the first thing you need to do is do what Taryn's telling you. Sit there, fast. If you pray, pray. Meditation is highly important during this process, especially going within, doing what they call your shadow work. You need to get through some of that before you start really, truly connecting. You have to get within and help yourself to be more what's my word, like cleansed inside. You have to go through your shadow work. I don't know how else to describe that. It's like taking care of the issues that you have deep within yourself, and that will also help to propel you to get to that point of being more connected, right? Do you think so?
Oh,
Taryn?
yeah. Remember how I was talking about in the beginning of the show? And if you came in late, I actually went through the fascinating anatomy of the pineal gland, how it's different than everything else. And I talked about how it has piezoelectric crystals in it, the DMT crystals that can
Cool.
vibrate and produce light and produce colors, and that they can also work with neurotransmitters like serotonin. And I mean, if you missed the beginning of the show, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Go back and watch the beginning. And so it's really easy to screw that up just with inflammation of the brain. Like, and it's so funny how many things I keep coming back to. It's like, stop eating an inflammatory lifestyle. Like, all this crap just wrecks your
like tell them, like
neurotransmitters.
milk and cheese and all that stuff's highly inflammational in your body.
I mean, we're not meant to eat this crap, but it's so normal for us to.
I mean, it's so good though.
But this is why people were so much more spiritual in the past and were easier to connect, because we connect despite all this crap around us. It's in the way. I do think there's a great awakening coming, that the vibrations are rising and it's getting easier to break through the repression, but it hasn't quite hit there yet.
Well, I think you were right with the Schumann too. The Schumann resonance with that.
I haven't
look
checked
at
that
how
in a
many
long
of
time.
us were going through hearing very high frequencies in our ears from time to time. And to be quite honest, it hasn't been something that I've been experiencing a whole lot lately. But then you have, I mean, if you want to go into that, then you go into the earth and look at the volcanoes, the earthquakes, all these things that are happening to the earth right now. Then alone, seeing, like two suns. Me, I have this thing about the moons being just stupidly odd. You know what I mean? Like, well, it really should come across the same way. If you see it in the daytime, you shouldn't be able to see the moon at night. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Or
you know what I mean? Like, the other day, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the ones that you trip me out is when the moon teleports around the night sky. Like, you go out and you look, it's on one side, and then half hour later, it's completely on the other side. And you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, you do it so slow. I tell Magi, because we talk all the time, and I say to Magi, like, whoever the guy that is supposed to be doing the stars and the moon, he's messing up, and I'm noticing it. So we better start doing your job right, because it's crazy. Just 2 nights ago, I seen that. I seen the moon all day long. And it was moving across the sky so slow, and then I seen it all night. Like, that's not even possible. But with all that, it just shows like what's going on. And I also, because I study frequency and I do Reiki and all that it's our intentions are huge. What you think and what you say carries a vibration. So what you push out of your solar plexus chakra, which is right in your abdomen, is what you're going to get back. So if, for the people that were making chat before about how you know, we're slaves here. Well, to some degree, I understand that. You know what I mean? Like, we're all slaves to the system, right? But at the same time, we also need to understand that what we put out is what we get back. You can make your life a lot better by being a positive person. And granted, you still have to go through your crap, right? You still have to feel your emotions. Don't shove them down, but deal with them, move on. Remember that the only two things you can control is the way that you react. And what's the other one? I'm totally gapping out. The way you react to a situation. And the other one is, and this one's hard for me, is no expectations. If you don't have expectations, your expectations of other people cause you to react.
Yeah, that's
if
tough.
You don't have expectations, then you don't react.
Yeah,
that's as simple as it is.
You nailed it, because I meant to mention that. Remember how I was talking about, guys, that this gland is actually affected by motion, especially vibrations. So if you are vibrating low energy, where you hate the world, it's a bad place, everyone around you is negative, you're never going to reach that vibration that shakes this thing loose. This thing comes loose at high vibration thoughts, happiness, feeling good. Serotonin's made at high vibration. You know,
you could also get some singing bowls that can help you too. Ones that are attuned to the chakras of the body, that'll help to unblock things too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I have not used bowls, but I've been around people that use bowls, and I think they're super cool. I use tuning fork.
You can go outside, get there's ones that, oh my God, I'm totally wind chimes. Some wind chimes are actually done to the chakras of the body too. And so those tones as well, that's a good thing as well, is the tuning fork thing.
Tracy,
I don't have one of those.
I'm not trying to, yeah, I didn't even know they made wind chimes. That's really neat. Tracy from the chat says, you know, she's always had the spirit with me, but sodium channel blockers stop them from connecting. Epilepsy drug given off label for bipolar. It's fascinating that people will be connected, and then either some drug they take screws it up, or they get around low vibration people, or they get around bad food and lifestyle. Like, you can see when you're spiritually on, and then something is added in that connection blocks. I bitched for like 3 or 4 years that I couldn't connect spiritually, and it was because it was such a bad time in my life. I was doing stupid things and not taking care of myself. And as I'm cleaning my health up, I'm starting to connect again. It's flowing better. So there's no doubt, Tracy, that I think all kinds of stuff in this physical world, like drugs and stuff, can block it.
Yeah.
So
they might know or not know that they're doing that, but also stop eating the processed foods. I mean, that is huge. You know, your body is what you feed it. You know, so if you're eating a lot of processed foods, that's really going to block you, because it's not good fuel for the body.
And I'm trying to start that. I've been trying to eat fruit in the morning. So my big crutch is I like a hot morning breakfast. Like, I want some oatmeal, I want something hot, some hash browns or something.
See, I don't think
so switching over to
oatmeal's not bad.
I mean that's
actually
it's pretty
an oat.
Starchy. Like, a fruit just energizes me, man. If I eat a few oranges or grapefruit,
way better.
Yeah, way better. But it's been a tough change, especially in the winter. It's like
you ever try cold oatmeal? You could do cold oatmeal and put your fruit in with the oatmeal.
No, because never tried. I don't like cold food unless it's like fruit. Yeah, that's my hang up. Is I'm used to warm food, so I'm doing better. So what I did is I picked one meal where, you know, every breakfast I eat, I make myself eat some raw fruit, and that's a good way to start, guys. You know, some of you are like, "There's no way I could do that." Well, all right, just do it for one meal. You know, it's a way to start.
Yeah, try blending everything together. I did that. Those shakes are really good. I got to get back on doing that. But when I did the NutriBullet, I loved it. You could put your nuts in there. You could put seeds in there, as well as, you know, if you don't like kale, because kale's got a real bitter taste to it. So then you throw it in with like some bananas, some apples, you know, some fruit, and then you could just drink it like a drink. It's like a smoothie.
Yeah.
You can put some ice in it.
There's a lot of people
you can use water.
Just don't like eating greens. They're like, man, I don't want to sit and eat a big salad. It takes, you know, or I don't like the taste of it. And
actually, I have a problem with eating salads.
Smoothies are awesome, man. Just throw it in a blender and you're still getting the greens.
Is wonderful.
Yeah, you down your greens and
I for some reason I have a hard time. Like, if I blend it down, right, it doesn't bother me. But if I turn around and I try to eat a salad, I get major heartburn from salad. From certain, like I cannot eat iceberg lettuce. I hate it. I will eat like what's the other stuff? Romaine. Romaine's really good for you. It's got a lot of nutrients.
Yeah.
Iceberg is nothing but water. But you know that if I make slight changes in that, that will help. Iceberg always gives me heartburn for some reason.
Yeah.
So if I blend it down, it doesn't happen. And I think it's partially because it's partially broke down to some degree, so that your body then doesn't have to process it. It can just go through and take the nutrients, and it doesn't have to do the whole entire step, that whole entire process that it has to do. Does it make sense to you, Taryn?
No, it does. And because, you know, you're saving your body a lot of work to make the surface area. But I'm going to give you 2 tips. Here's my doctor hat coming on. Number 1, always chew something before you drink it. So in other words, if you're going to make a smoothie, leave a piece of apple out. Leave a piece of 1 slice of orange. You need mastication to set the nerves up to your stomach to get the acids to come out correctly. Otherwise, you bombard them before the acids are out, and you don't digest it very well. So you must masticate. You actually have to physically chew something before you start. So as you're putting your smoothie together, eat a piece of it. Just chew it, chew it.
That's a good idea.
Start the digestion process before you blast it.
Well, because the acids in the stomach and everything need to be going. I got you.
The other thing is, I have a glass straw that I drink out of. You can actually order glass straws on Amazon, and it saves your teeth enamel if you're doing a lot of citrus. So slowly drink it over about 10-15 minutes. Take your time drinking it. Don't just crush it, and you'll digest it way better, and you'll protect your teeth. And don't brush afterward, because you'll ruin your teeth. If you have acid on your teeth and you brush it, you actually ruin the enamel. So what you want to do is drink this thing, swish some water, wait about 20-30 minutes, then brush your teeth. There you go. Take my doctor hat off.
That Rachel is in the chat, because I have my tablet on my lap. So maybe like Rachel is.
Please send me the link. What I'm going to do is add him to the call. Rach, tell him to get on his Discord. I tried to add him through Discord, and he wasn't there. So jump to that.
And I came to his rescue, just FYI.
Yeah, she did, because she said she wasn't even feeling good.
Yeah, I know. My neck's messed up. I need my chiropractor. Hint.
I don't know who that is. You work for him. Go. You work for. You know, your chiropractor's going to see this one day, and you're going to get sold out. He's going to be like, "Why?
No, I mean he does
talking about another chiro?"
And he's fine. He's good for the moment. But I will tell you, there is not one, and I know, right? There's not one person that addressed me better than you. You need to make a trip down here before. Oh, I'm going to Aruba.
Are you really?
Mm-hmm. Taking a two week vacation and going down to the Southern Caribbean, and that's on the 2nd. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Let me see.
So come visit me, adjust me before I go.
Oh, is that how that works?
Please, Darren.
Is that how that works? Let me see if I can get Unirock in here.
It's not how it works. I came all the way up to you.
That's true. I'm trying. Are you still there, Burma?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason it dropped your picture out when I added Unirock.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
Can you guys hear her okay? Yeah, I'll adjust you Aruba. That's what they say. Unirock, can you hear us? I don't know what's going on here. Unirock.
I know. I'll send you some pictures, Taryn. I'll drop it on Discord or something, so you can see. Right, I'm totally excited.
I'm excited for you. That sounds awesome. Hey, do me a favor. Hit your camera. Can you turn your camera back on? It turned it off when I
can't. It just says connect. It says connect to voice. Like I'm not connected. It says not connected.
Okay, I'm gonna leave the call for a sec and come back in. I'm gonna end this call completely. End the call. All right. So hopefully, if you guys are joining us, we did talk all about the pineal gland the first hour. If you missed it, please go back and watch it. You're doing yourself a disservice. We really dove into the anatomy, explained some of the stuff in there, and yeah, it was a heck of a. All right, Irma, I see you. Good, you're back.
Okay, and then, just 1 minute.
I also got to the point where I also said some stuff about how to get your pineal to work better. Some theories going around about what helps, what doesn't. Oh, before I forget, I'm going to address this issue. I'll put my doctor hat back on. I need a doctor hat. What do I, when I say put my doctor, I need a real hat. Like, all I have is a pirate hat, so. There we go. I'm gonna put my pirate hat on.
Hey, Tara, is Uni coming on?
I don't know. He tried, I think, to join and it didn't work. He always has a million things hooked up, so he can never just join. He has to turn off 50 things.
Well, the only reason I ask is because it's Richard's dad's birthday.
Oh, you need me to split? Okay. All right. Well,
we have to do some running.
Let me say this last thing then.
I apologize.
No problem.
Because I came to save you. I did save you for a few minutes anyway.
I appreciate that. So here's what I'm going to say before they go, though. And this is something you might want to hear. Is there is a lot of talk about removing heavy metals in your body with iodine. So people are always like, make sure you eat stuff with lots of iodine or take iodine pills. One of the biggest mistakes women make, especially women between 35 and 50, is to take iodine when they are undiagnosed with Hashimoto's disease. There is autoimmune thyroid, a hypothyroid condition called Hashimoto's that most people go to their doctors and never get their doctors to test for. They just say their thyroid doesn't work and they have a slow thyroid, but they don't realize it's autoimmune. If you take iodine and you have undiagnosed Hashimoto's, or you have Hashimoto's, and you take iodine, you will ramp that destruction up to hyperspeed. So your thyroid will tear itself apart because you're giving it fuel while it's fired up. So there's a bunch of people out there that are like, man, go take your iodine. Make sure you get enough iodine. But there is a huge majority of women here with autoimmune issues in America because of the diet and the hormones and the way it's starting to happen. There's like women who are over 35 and they have some sort of, they have skin problems or they have some sort of thyroid problem where they can't lose weight anymore or whatever. Good chance you might have some Hashimoto's, and if you do and you stuff yourself full of iodine, you are going to destroy your thyroid. So make sure you do not take it if you do have that. So that is my 2 cents on when people say decalcifying. Let me see that cat. Well, we'll jump over the cat because we always have to.
All right, hold on.
We always have to stop the show.
There's a pizza box here from last night. Hold on a second.
So there you guys go.
Let's see if I can get her. There she is.
Missy, right?
There she is, Missy. Yeah.
That is a cute cat. All right. So if you guys have never seen my show, I will stop the show at any time if you have a cat come in the room. That's just kind of the rules. So, all right. Hey, go enjoy your birthday. If you want to say any last words, I'll give you a chance.
Yeah, just anybody that goes into Discord, if you have any questions, maybe I'll jump in later or just hit me up. Go at tab and but just keep pressing forward. Don't let it. I don't know what my word is. Like, don't let it discourage you if you're not totally connecting it. It's a process. It's a process for us all, and we all have little steps to take to help ourselves, and just realize that energy is everything in life, and what you put out is what you get back. So you have to keep it positive, but you also have to go through your shadow work. And if you don't know what that is, then either hit me up, I'll explain, and I'll try to help you through it, or whatever. So have a good day. Have a nice Saturday. Stay safe. Stay warm because it's cold. It's cold where I'm at. And Taryn, thanks for having me on. I'm sorry that I wasn't feeling the best. Like I said, I need my chiropractor in my neck right here. Oh, God. My trap is killing me.
Well, thanks, Burma, for coming in. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
It's cool. I just found out I actually have... Burma, I love you. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome, dear.
Just hang on up if you want, and I will try to get Uni.
That's
Uni,
okay.
if you're still around, give me a holler.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Taryn. Have a good one.
Bye. So in the beginning of the show, I went through and I talked all about the pineal gland, but we got a bunch of new viewers. And hey, guys, thanks over it. I actually have people over at D-Live. I'm loving it. Rescue Jazz and King Heimerdinger. Hey, man, thanks. All right, well, if you missed the beginning, I really, really went into it, and it seems like we picked up a lot of people that missed the beginning of the show. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick run-through real quick of sort of what you missed, and it is going to be the very condensed version. But if you have a chance, go back and watch the beginning of the show. So here we go, guys. Here's what you missed in the beginning of the show. So there's this pineal gland, and the pineal gland is in the middle of your head. It's near your brainstem. And this is like a sideways view of your head. Here's the back of the skull. Here's the front of the skull. There is a patch of skin on the front of your forehead that has some sort of residual connection. When they actually dissect some lower life forms, they actually find connections set up for an eyeball. So like in lizards and stuff, they will check. And at one point, there was some third eye that has become residual in some animals. So they think maybe that happened in humans at one time. Maybe there really was a third eye. Because what's weird is this pineal gland has photoreceptors. It has these pinealocytes, which are kind of cone and rod shaped in the brain. So why does this gland that is inches into the brain have photoreceptors that can see light? Why that? What? You know what? How is it seeing light that far into the brain, right? So, and the pineal gland, its recognized job is it is the gland that puts you to sleep and wakes you up. So in the daytime, it floods you with serotonin and gets you in that good mood of let's go out and conquer the day, and then at nighttime it puts you to sleep with melatonin, and it is based on darkness. You must black out and have darkness, or you don't produce melatonin well. So this is a big reason, like in our society, people are sick is because they have TVs in their room and too many lights, and you know they don't sleep in darkness anymore. And so that is what it normally does. Now, if you look at the pineal gland, it is pine cone shaped, right? Here's a dissection of it, and you'll see that people often describe it as a pine cone. And what's crazy is way back in the day, in old texts and ancient texts and stuff, like here's an Anunnaki, a Sumerian thing, where they're holding a pine cone, right? And there's an old statue with a third eye. If you go through all these cultures, like Greek cultures, you'll see this pine cone in sculptures. And the Buddhists, you'll see Buddha wearing a pine cone hat. And it's like, why are all these things have pine cones? What is the... But I think back in old culture, one of the theories was that they refer to this gland as the pine cone, pineal gland, and that they knew it had some sort of spiritual connection. Who knows how they knew? You know, I think a lot of our past has been erased. I think people knew a lot more back then. And some people even go far back and say the Eye of Ra is based on the slice of the brain in the pineal gland. That the... you know, you can get a good idea, the corpus callosum and the thalamus, and yeah, the IRI kind of looks like a sagittal slice of a brain, you know, pretty interesting there. So there is some history to kind of, maybe that's true, who knows? So let's get back to a little anatomy though. What's crazy about this pineal gland is it is different than every other gland in your body. It has fluid in it, and in this fluid are DMT crystals, so dimethyltryptamine. These crystals are piezoelectric, which means that a crystal that is piezoelectric means that it can be deformed, and when the crystal is compressed or deformed or vibrated, it produces electricity. And this is, you know, this is pretty standard stuff. Like, this is how a quartz watch works. That it slowly compresses this crystal and creates electricity to move the watch. That's been known. So piezoelectric, but they're surprised this happens inside this tiny little gland in the brain. But what's crazier is these DMT crystals also produce bioluminescence. Like piezoluminescence, where they glow. So when you compress them, not only they put out electricity, but they actually put out light. And then on top of that, they also have a piezochromatic effect. So in other words, they can also put out color. So not only do they glow, they can put out rainbows and all different colors depending on how they're compressed or vibrated. So why does this thing inside the middle of your head run on light when it doesn't have eyeballs, right? The eyes kind of have to send the information to the pineal gland, and then they send it through to the optic center to kind of, you know, to turn on serotonin production and melatonin production. But They also think that there's some sort of residual patch of skin here that is photosensitive that can turn on and off the pineal gland as well, or talk to it. And that's why people will call it the third eye, that this spot of skin acts like an eyeball. So, yeah, it doesn't, I don't know if it crushes the crystal, but it vibrates the crystal. I mean, yeah, I guess it malforms the crystal for it to make energy. And DMT is actually naturally made. The body makes this stuff. So it's a fascinating thing to think that your body can make something, a crystal that can put off electricity and glow different colors inside your brain, that is hooked up to your optic center so you can see rainbows with your eyes closed. It's really nuts. Oh, Unirock's back. Uni, do you want to come in, dude? I will try to bring you in Discord again. You just let me know. I'm ready to add you. So that's why, if you missed the beginning of the show, I went into a lot of about the anatomy, that this is some weird gland that has all these crystals in it that, that has these crystals that have an electrical effect that can actually illuminate the inside of your body with color. And that it also has a direct tie into these very strong neurotransmitters. And that this effect, these piezoelectric effect, can be triggered by vibrations and frequencies. And I had talked about earlier that, certain tuning forks, like this is a 528, certain tuning forks are supposed to be able to vibrate that thing loose and get it producing colors. And some meditations you'll hear, like way back in the day when people go, oh, that vibration actually shakes your cells in your body and shakes that gland. And if you get the right frequencies, you can produce, you can activate that DMT. Now, ancient cultures believed that this was the seat of the soul. In other words, this is how your soul enters this reality and leaves this reality, is through this gland. It comes in, expresses itself into this meat suit, and leaves through that little spot. If you do energy work, one of the reoccurring things is that this part of your forehead is a chimney of energy. Like the energy goes into your body and it comes out through the pineal gland. Feet. It shoots out feet. And that if that is blocked, you don't get your electricity flowing. You have a massive block here, and no flowing electricity is a bad thing. You always want your energy to flow like breath. So there's lots of things that go wrong when it's blocked. But one of the biggest things people complain about is a lack of spiritual connection. When it's blocked, it's spiritual connection. All right, Unirock, yes. I'm going to try to bring you in right now on Discord. So I will be back in a second, and we will try to do this on the Discords. You guys go ahead and look at these pictures and entertain yourself. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. Oh my goodness. Talk amongst yourselves like coffee talk. We'll talk about lox and bagels. All right. I'm opening back up Discord, and I'm going to try to call you directly, Unirock. So let's see if I can do this. Calling. I'm going to video call you, so hopefully this works. I'm calling you right now, buddy. And,
connecting.
I hear you. I think they can hear you, but they can't see you yet. You're like
coffee talk.
Coffee talk. Let's talk about it. You Southerners don't even know about real bagels. I don't even know why I tried down here. That's all I used to hear in Atlanta. Is they'd sit there and go, "You guys don't know nothing about bagels."
Bagels.
Oh wow, I got a Patreon follower. Thank you.
Super cool.
All right. I don't know why it's not loading the video, but I think it will here in a bit. Yeah, but you can go ahead and talk. They can hear you. Can you guys hear Unirock? Please give us some feedback.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear my bagels? Yeah, man, I love it. Do you know, Doc, that the pineal gland also has some conspiracy behind it?
Tell us the conspiracy side. Please do, about them dumping fluoride on us, sir.
That's it. Yes, they say that fluoride is bad for your pineal gland, and that they don't put the fluoride in our water to help our teeth, which it's kind of strange. Okay, because look, when I was in Iraq, we had to use fluoride rinse. We didn't swallow it. We weren't supposed to swallow it. And if you didn't use the fluoride rinse, it'd make your teeth hurt so bad. Like you could just like be sitting there and your teeth would hurt. And it was really weird. I'm like, damn, how did people before fluoride not have their teeth hurt all the time? So I've actually questioned it myself. Like, is it because of fluoride that our teeth hurt when we don't have fluoride? Does it have some effect on our teeth? But anyway, yeah, we'd rinse our mouths out with it, and my teeth instantly would stop. It stopped hurting. And I didn't know this when I first went over. Like, I was bitching about my teeth a lot. But long story short, I've always asked myself, you know, we rinse our mouths out with mouthwash. We brush our teeth and we don't swallow it. Why are we swallowing fluoride in our water? It's strange. I don't know if it maybe has a benefit on our body. I need to look that up. But yeah, you can find thousands of web pages that will tell you that you shouldn't have fluoride because it will numb your pineal gland and keep us spiritually blocked from experiencing our full lives. And you know, I just typed it in while I was chilling here a few minutes ago, and it's everywhere. So
yeah, Kate has, I keep saying Kate has the best article I've ever seen on it, and I'll have to link it if you guys really want to read it. It is the primo article on fluoride I've ever seen. So I mean, it's worth a whole show. We should probably just do an entire show on fluoride one day. The history of it's like very dark.
Yeah, and I know that they've used it as poison in the past. Then again, does that mean anything? I'm not sure. So it is weird, I'll say that. Other conspiracies around it, people say that through the use of DMT they've contacted beings. They say has to do with the pineal gland. You know, hold on, I'm trying to get my video.
Yeah, I don't know why your video's not working. For you guys listening, they're just looking at a picture of pineal glands right now on me, but they can hear you, so they can hear you.
Yeah, it should work. I don't know. We could do a hangout, or we could just keep talking here.
Well, you know what you could do is leave the call and come right back in. Sometimes that fixes it. So leave it. Oh, I think I saw you when you left it. It blinked. So come back in, and I will try to get you back in. Maybe if you set the call up. I'm going to come in under voice, so maybe that'll fix it.
I figured it out. Here we go. It should work in just a second.
All right, because people want to see their Unirock. You got all kinds of fans in here. So there we go.
Do I?
You're in.
Hey guys, what's up, y'all?
All right, let me slide you.
Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
I will.
Okay.
I'll move you in a sec. Almost there. Let me pop you up to full screen. And ladies and gentlemen, here's the man talking. Here he is.
It's me.
So go ahead and tell us what you know about the darkness of fluoride and the pineal gland, because we had all talked about the good stuff it does, and let's talk about why so many people have it blocked and why can't they cross over with their spiritual side.
Yeah, you know, okay, so as far as I could go deep, but I'm going to try not to because I'll get pretty cray-cray if I do.
This crowd doesn't seem to mind. Go ahead.
Well, okay, so I fully transitioned, as I've said 5 billion times, from atheist to some kind of spiritual person. I do believe that we're here to meet other people and to deal with other people. It seems like life is centered around other people. Now, do I think there is an evil presence here? I'm starting to believe it. I'm starting to believe that this battle between good and evil is, because I've actually, okay, so the guy from Ancient Aliens, Reverend Carter, he comes in and talks to me before my live stream went down. He'd come in all the time and talk to me, and he doesn't believe in a battle between good and evil. He thinks that that's just a distraction from us realizing our full good potential, that we should leave the evil thing out of our heads, and that it doesn't exist. It's just a human construct. But I do believe it. I can't help it yet. I haven't got there yet. Maybe here in a few years. But I believe that if there is this, like, if we are good and we're meant to try to be good and learn how to deal with each other and all this, I do see like that it's possible, and to be tested. It's almost like, you know, why else would we be here if we're not to be tested? I do have a thought that evil is a necessary thing to test us. It almost is a good excuse. Maybe it's because I don't want to admit that the evil things that happen in our world. I don't want to realize them. I don't want to realize that human beings have the potential to do that. And I want to blame it on this thing that we're being tested and evil has to be there to test us and blah, blah, blah. But whatever it is, I still believe it. So do I believe that they, as in anyone that's trying to steer people the wrong way, would even go to that level of putting stuff in our food and water? Yes, I do. It goes, I mean, I've been thinking this, that's why, like, when the storm thing came up, that like this big trend right now, the storm that's getting these YouTubers all these views and all this, when it came up, I was really happy about it, because like, I'm like, you know what? People are waking up to the evil that's in our government and in our and around us, and they want it to stop. So I was like, you know, I like this. This is cool. I've been talking about this for a year, so
yeah, you have been on top of that. You know, we had talked about this earlier. If you missed the beginning of the show, we had by the way, if you're just tuning in now, go back to the beginning, because I explained all the anatomy and how the pineal gland works and the third eye, and it's a good talk. You should go back and listen. But on top of that, though, we did talk about that, you know, you're a spiritual being inheriting this meat bag that's here. You know, you have a lot more power than you think, and you don't have to accept this negative world around you. You can pretty much, very few things actually affect your life. If you get sucked into all the bad stuff around you, the storm, the terrible things coming, all that, I mean, it's okay to be aware of it, but if that's what you focus on, man, it brings your energy down, and I think that vibration blocks your connection to your pineal gland. I really do.
For sure,
low vibration stuff keeps it from doing its thing. So
if you don't try to stay positive, then for sure. If you're not looking at it from a positive perspective, oh yeah, for sure. And you know, so many people right now are saying that, you know, the pineal gland is something more than what is being admitted to us. Therefore, it makes it a conspiracy, I suppose. But it really all goes back to what you believe. I mean, if you do believe you have a soul, you know, it would make sense that there would be a physical part of our brains that would connect to this, you know?
And you don't really have to be a big conspiracy theorist to think of, just logically, if you want to control a population, isn't it good to kind of keep them dumbed down and at bay? And the easiest way to do that is to drug them in their food. I mean, to me, that it's not that big of a leap, especially if you think of organized religion too, that they need you to have a gateway. You can't just talk directly to God. You have to go to church to talk directly to God. You know, they want you to have your own gateway to go through them. And by turning off our spiritual connection, it is a good way to keep that from happening, I think. I don't know.
And there's even more.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so the food part, I didn't necessarily believe it, okay? It seems like a stretch because when I judge a conspiracy like chemtrails, I say to myself, wait now, so if the evil people are polluting the air, they're also trying to pollute their kids' air. And I see evil humans as people that want their family to be there, but they want everyone else to work for them and give them money and do all the crappy jobs for them. So it's hard for me to get behind certain conspiracies, because I'm like, damn, that just kills all the evil people too. It doesn't make sense. So the food thing, didn't really believe it, but there's been, and it just happened a few days ago, people are coming out with this information, not disinformation. They're coming out with information that there are government sources approaching farmers all over the world and inside the United States and actually taking their food or penalizing them, buying their food, saying, okay, before you sell this to the public, you got to go through us. And they already pay taxes on the food. They've already had regulations. The FDA comes in. They don't understand why this happens. I've been looking into it. Now, I haven't confirmed it, so I haven't done a story on it. But it's interesting to talk about in a chat, because why are they getting – I mean, there is a lot of regulations on farmers. Why in the world would they want to get in between where the food is at the farm and then going to the people, when everything they can do they can do it just by taxing, regulating, FDA coming in and making sure the food's not bad and stuff, doing tests. It makes no sense. And even in milk, even in farmers that are making cheeses, meat, they have to come in and actually supposedly, I haven't, gotten videotape yet, but supposedly they're saying you can't sell it to the people. You got to sell it through us. You got to have us grab your food and we'll take it and sell it. Here's your money or whatever. And I know that a lot of people say, well, actually there are farmers that sell directly to people all over the place. This is just something that's being said for some of the major farms around, for the majority of the food that's coming out. So we're working to verify or debunk this right now. But I think it plays into this whole thing, because in order to affect the pineal gland, you have to do it through the water or through the food supply. Now, through the air, I guess some people in the chemtrail world will say, hey, you know, they do it with chemtrails too, but I'm not a firm believer in chemtrails yet. I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I'm still. We should get some chemtrail guys, because I'm not really a chemtrail guy, but I'm not going to doubt. You know, the government does terrible things to its people all the time. It does it to their own soldiers. It's not like they wouldn't experiment and test or whatever. So I'm not above thinking that way. I will say this though, that really wealthy people don't do stuff that we do. Like people in the know, you'll find out like the Rothschilds don't vaccinate their kids. They don't. They just don't. It doesn't happen. You know, why don't these doctors, these major doctors, they don't vaccinate their kids? What do they know? But they tell everybody else to. You know, it's like I'm sure these people have like water filtration systems, or they're in the know and they just kind of keep it to themselves. I would think, because I think once you are kind of in the know and you're in the rich and powerful area, there's probably some pretty simple solutions that they don't do stuff that the peons do. So
I'd love to see a politician, a Rothschild, a Soros go get a flu shot, go get an immunization, go get a vaccine, go eat something that's sold by McDonald's. You know, like I'd love to see them do this. Like, hey, you want us to fucking do this, man? All you got to do is go do it right now and show it to us, because I doubt they would. You know, like I'm with you there.
Yeah.
And if they're not, we probably should follow suit. And it goes to show that like many people are. What I'm saying is like this whole storm conspiracy thing. I like it only because it shows a lot of people are finally starting to realize it's possible.
Wait,
I think the possibility.
I haven't really been keeping up. I saw Jacob Israel put something out about this, but
he did. Oh my
God.
God.
Long time ago, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, he did something about the storm coming. What is the storm coming for us that aren't hip on this?
Okay, so a government leaker comes out, Assange, WikiLeaks, another one does, Q. They're telling that, you know, the conspiracy theorists, quote unquote, are right that there is this evil group upstairs, that Pizzagate essentially now, and don't think it means all information on any of this stuff is right or wrong, and that you should, you know, one thing I always try to put a disclaimer out that says, don't assume who the bad players are, because then we're going to point fingers at the wrong guy, and that's just as bad as being evil if we're persecuting someone for this who's not doing it. But they're saying that, you know, we've been right, and that a lot of these conspiracies have, especially ones that target around, I don't like saying the word, rings of people that are being abused and misused. These conspiracies were correct, and that there is an effort by the leakers and by the government, by certain people in the government. Now, here's the part that really is suspect. They say names like Trump is trying to make sure he goes in and cleans out all these bad players. And that's what gets me. I don't like it when it becomes sided, and you'll find out. Now, I don't know if it's the leakers being sided or if it's the interpretations of the people. See, people could be going in, and it could be being sided because of people. So anyway, they're saying that there is an effort by people in government and people like us, people that look at conspiracies, normal people are waking up, and that they are going to get the bad guys out of. And it's gotten so big, and I just uploaded a video of this. It's not on my channel yet. It's processing, but it's so big that people are even looking at the airport schedules to places like Guantanamo Bay and big prisons and trying to say, look, there's a bunch of congressmen and a bunch of politicians going to prison right now. We can prove it. Hillary Clinton's wearing an ankle bracelet. John Podesta has an ankle bracelet on. Now, I think that's hype. I think a lot of that is hype because people literally like sheeple conspiracy theorists. They're getting into conspiracy theory. They believe every conspiracy video they see, and it's taking them to insane places. But I do want to believe that there is an effort to clean up our politics and our society and start people down the right path. That the awakening that we've seen over the last 5 years, the effect of it is people are standing up and they're saying, let's go. We're not going to sit by and wait for the next thing to happen. We want results. We want people who are doing evil things to be made examples of, to be thrown out, to be locked up. And we want to scare all the other evil guys, and we want to get them out. And that's essentially the storm wrapped up.
So what? Who's actually the one that's like going after these people? Who's arresting? I mean, how do you have the kind of power over the powerful?
Well, they say that Trump is now. Okay, so cited individuals, and I'm not behind this. I don't know if Trump is. I don't know if some political dude is that's a Republican or a Democrat. I don't know. But if you go and watch videos, you'll see people that are saying Trump's doing it. He's cleaning out the top, and then you'll see like, or this guy's doing it, and this radio host is doing it. He's getting people to go clean out the top. That we finally have Hillary Clinton with an ankle bracelet. Now, me hearing them say Hillary Clinton it sounds to me like they're just still all on this. Like okay. We know that right after an election, all of these cited people that are just so, I have to name names, even if there's no evidence. They'll create evidence, they'll make it up, and they'll say, oh, it's got to be Hillary, just because they want her to look bad. Still, they're so invested in an election that for years after the election, they'll sit and make her look bad. But then again, we got it on the other side, too. There's a guy that just put a book out, and I just did a video on this, who's trying to bash Trump. And he even admits in the beginning of his book that it's all fake. He's like, oh, it's just reports. These are just claims. It's no fact at all. But then he gives a whole book of it. I just did a video on this. It's insane. Anyway, I don't know. They want to say Trump is doing it. They want to say that there's other people, but I don't pay attention to the cited stuff, so I couldn't name more names. But I don't know, but they're even watching the airport flight schedules, which really gets me. I'm like, guys, we wouldn't. That could be a plane taking food to Guantanamo Bay. They're not going to label it if it's going to Guantanamo Bay. They're not going to tell you what's on the damn plane. So, but it's a lot of guessing. But it shows you the mindset of people. They want it so bad.
At least it's a positive mindset of a sense that these people that did wrong are getting justice, and I mean that's okay. It's at least. They're waking up, and whatever brings this is where I go, because if you guys watch this show, I don't go down too many negative roads. I always kind of just like listen and turn it back, because I do feel that if you get really involved in this, it builds that negative loop in your brain where you like Unirock was saying, some people get so conspiracy sided that everything they look at is a conspiracy, and it locks you with fear and keeps you in a bad place. So with this sort of stuff, these can be gateways, and that's the way I see the conspiracy stuff. They can be what brings you in and wakes you up, as long as you eventually wind your way to a good, positive place. Like, holy crap, all these bad things are going on. I can't really do anything about them. Why should I worry about them? You know what? I'm going to try to make my own life better. Screw that stuff. Like if you get to that point, I think that this stuff helps, and I'm glad that there's things waking people up.
Yeah, me too. That's the kind of side I've been taking on it. I just want basically to know one way or the other, I think all of us do. So when we finally have people that are saying, I'm kind of scared about people who are, because remember, when Pizzagate came out, there was some guy that took a gun to the pizzeria and started shooting at it. And this literally happened. The guy got locked up, all that. And that's that some people have that mindset. They're like, I'm going to take one for the team. I'm going to become a hero. I'm going to go do this. That's the danger here. If James Alefantis, which I think he's a sick-ass individual, but if he's not doing the Pizzagate stuff, it's pretty dangerous if he's going to get killed. Regardless of he's got a bunch of really bad Instagram posts and replies. That's really all the physical evidence I could find on the guy. But he literally had a guy with a gun come in his pizza shop and start shooting. So that's the mindset. That's a place it can go. We have to be careful. These fervors over these political types of things can go to really dangerous places, and innocent people, whether we think they're evil or not, it's our responsibility in a court of law to prove it, not to just walk in and arrest people. So do I think that anything's happening right now? No, I think that people are waking up. They're trying to direct their energy to maybe show politicians like we need to do something about it. But anyway, I don't want to get off the topic of the pineal gland though, because
we went a little over there. Come back.
Yeah, all of this does relate though, because the pineal gland is but even admitted by a lot of doctors that it does do something spiritual. Now, I'm not saying that doctors admit that it connects to the spiritual realm. I'm saying that they admit that it is responsible for a lot of the things that we consider to be spiritual, like dreaming, like imagination, like a lot of the things you mentioned earlier, you know.
Well, this is kind of what I was talking about before, is you can go back and look at old ancient texts, and they describe when they connect with the source, like these common things, either a tunnel of light or a silver cord or a sonic boom when they cross over into the next realm. And then you can watch people modern day that have done DMT or psychedelics, or they've had a spiritual experience, and they'll still say the same damn thing. They'll be like, you know, this is a tunnel and this is, you know, all the rainbows, and they describe all these same things. And it is when I bring it back to the anatomy of the pineal gland, like I did in the beginning of the show, about how the pineal gland can actually create color in your brain and light in your brain, that's pretty fascinating. So that stuff activates the DMT, and when you overload the DMT, I think that the pineal gland is what's responsible for dealing with it, and you just get a massive experience of it and the spiritual effects. So yes, a scientist could look at this and be like, oh well, it's not spiritual, it's just, you know, you're just having this photon reaction in your brain and you think it's spiritual. But it changes people, man. When they come back from the other side, they change. I changed big time. You know, it completely changes your view of this reality here when you have that kind of experience. So I don't really give a damn what a scientist says. I know my truth. I was there. You know, I don't care if he thinks it's just pretty colors going off in my head.
Yeah. I've never used DMT, but when I was a teenager, I unfortunately, because it did a lot of damage to my brain, I swear to God, I did a lot of acid because it was just around and people were taking it all the time.
Did you have the experiences on acid like that, or were they different?
I had a lot of different experiences, but I will say that I really feel like it connected me to another dimension. Okay, whether it was, a lot of the times I would have said it was a bad place. A lot of the times I could have said it was a good place, but it did connect me to another dimension. I'll say that much. And it was scary. Sometimes I did, though, like feel like I was ascending somewhere and I'd spent time in another world and all this. The weird thing is when you have that experience, a lot of people get all hippie-like, and then people say, "Oh, he's just on drugs, man."
He just likes doing drugs.
Yeah, but I'll say this: I'm like too logical for my own good. Even when I was younger, I was really a lot worse than I am now with logic and stuff. That's why I was an atheist back then. And when I was on that stuff, I was still looking at it from a logical standpoint, even though I was messed up. And I honestly, I think I kind of think I know the difference between whether I was somewhere else or wasn't. And in my opinion, I think I was somewhere else for a period of time. I think that maybe it could have just been that I was so enamored with the drugs. But then again, I don't know. But let me say this. Either way, I fully believe that people are having this type of experience, this spiritual experience, now at least. So, long story short, I don't want to say it helps prove the way I feel or anything for myself, but my whole thing this whole time has been like, you know, how I can't explain why I'm here. You can't. I mean, unless we make some guesses. I mean, if you just think about it from like, well, unless I'm you know, I can't confirm it. There's no way for me to prove it to you, is what I'm trying to say. So, I don't understand how we could be here without, you know, there being other places or something else. You know, people say like, well, hey, it's logical to be here on Earth. It's not at all. It seems so illogical to the point of insanity. Like you're saying the atheists think there's an empty universe out there, and it's normal for the planets to form and for a life to spring on it due to randomness and evolution. It's really not. We should have just stayed in a empty state. So I fully now believe that there is a spiritual realm. And unfortunately, you know, I didn't live in a good way for a long time. So, but what that tells me is that, you know, that we all have to be careful and try to be good people. And I think that studying the pineal gland is one thing that helped me realize, because I don't think a lot of people notice that there is a part of the brain that's reserved, even in science, to say that it gives us the experience. It bugs me out that scientists can learn about the pineal gland, read about it, study it. Some of them even look at them. You know, they have a guy donate his brain to science and they get to look at it, and then they don't actually maybe feel a little uneasy, like, oh shit, am I right to think that the world is just, you know, a science-driven place, or should I worry about my spiritual well-being? You know, like, I think it does help us, because you mentioned ancient people writing about the pineal gland, and I've read many people talk about the third eye, and that's what you attribute to the pineal gland. Now, like I said, people would study the brain even back then, so I'm sure they saw it. It looks like an eye. That's why they called it the third eye. Probably why they thought there was a third eye, why they drew it on their forehead, because it's right back there, right?
Well, there's different theories on that, because like I was saying in the beginning of the show, they found some animals that when they peel back the skin have photoreceptors in their foreheads. Like at one time some lizards had a third eye but don't now. So is it possible way back in the day that people really had a third eye, and it's been,
and that it's left
residually it's residually gone back? Because why the hell do we have this structure that can detect light in the middle of our brain with no access to light? You know, it's like, what? So
think it has
maybe
a
that was
purpose.
there. Maybe, you know, maybe it gets crazier. Maybe there were aliens that look like that you know, we worshiped.
Yeah.
Maybe there's all kinds of theories on where this third eye came from.
Because people think it did evolve back into the brain. There is a theory there that says that we did have a third eye, and when we were like a long time ago in our evolution, and then through evolution it somehow went inside of our brain or something, like, you know.
Like if you're just coming in and you missed all the pictures I took through, like the history where I showed the Eye of Ra and I showed like the brain. Did you see any of that? Or
no, I
okay.
was finishing up a video. I was listening, but I don't want to say I heard anything.
I was just showing all these videos, these pictures of what people thought of the pineal gland, how it looks like a pine cone, and how it was in history. The pine cone shows up everywhere, all over history.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And that. So that was pretty interesting. Again, I don't want to rehash too much of this, because I've you know, people have been listening for 2 hours and I've rehashed it like 3 times. So if you're new, you're just gonna have to go back and watch it. Sorry guys. Sorry you missed it. That was being said on that front. There was some stuff here though that people were talking about that I didn't want to ignore. Okay, so here's some of the comments. Tracy was saying that acid is LSD. Let's see. Acid and DMT, different animal. On acid, yes, you're on drugs. DMT, you're on another plane. And I've heard that. It's funny if you I hate to keep going back to drugs, because people watch this and be like, oh, he's promoting you go, you know, do psychedelics. That's your choice. You're a grown damn person if you want to do it or not. But there has to be, to ignore history is ridiculous, because almost every religion out there used drugs to get to the next level. That's even suggested that Jesus, that a lot of that was a mushroom cult. Like there's mushroom references everywhere in the Bible, and shamans are very open about it. They use ayahuasca right now. They're, you know, and nobody's like, oh well, that shaman's a hippie because he likes doing drugs. You know, no, it's like a spiritual freaking trip. And so to say that. So Tracy, I appreciate the clarification because I have not done either of those, but I appreciate you breaking through and letting us know what's up with that. There was something else here I wanted to get through. Captain Waffle says it's important to go into those experiences with a respectful mindset to what it will show you. Doing it for fun is when it's abused and bad things happen. Yeah, I think that's true. It's just like praying. You go in with an intent of something you want to work on or get knowledge from the universe. Unless you're just like meditating just to chill your mind out. But so I would think this is the same thing. I do want to talk about one other thing is the pineal gland responsible for lucid dreaming? And I would think it is. It is the connection. It is the junction point of your serotonin and your melatonin. Like it's in charge of putting you to sleep. And this one gland that has all these crystals in it and can vibrate and shoot light off and colors off inside your brain to your optic centers and control your melatonin. I would think those things combine. And it's your spiritual, some people are saying it's your spiritual pathway. This one little peanut of a gland, I think, is what gives you the lucid dreaming experience. And I believe if you can open a lot of people say if you can open your pineal gland up, that your third eye up, that you'll have a lot better lucid dreams. So sorry.
And that makes sense. It really does. I agree with that statement. I think that lucid dreaming, it probably does come from the pineal gland. I had some lucid dreams last night, and they freaked me out, man. I don't even know what to say about them. Like, I have really bad dreams. Like, oh God. Man. It bothers me. So the thing is, though, like, I'd love to look at that from like a scientific standpoint and see what people say. Like if scientists also agree with that statement. Mostly because like I think the more things we attribute that are spiritual-esque or that prove spirituality to us, I guess, or something like that. The more things that we attribute to the pineal gland will give it more weight for what it is. I mean, we all pretty much know. We've all got a gut feeling. I think our gut feeling's right, honestly. I would, if it wasn't, I'd admit it. But I do think, as I sit now, I think our gut feeling is right.
And it would be one thing if it was just like a handful of people that were like, oh, I got my pineal working. But there is just testimony after testimony going way, way back that connects the pineal gland and opening it and having a religious experience. And and it's just so many people with the almost exact same story that it's getting kind of hard to dismiss,
Exactly.
The sheer number of people that have that same experience.
Oh, yeah, just like Barry when he was talking about DMT and ayahuasca. I mean, I'd love to know if that really does affect the pineal gland.
I think that's the junction. I mean, it makes sense that that's the one part of your body that can... I mean, you have crystals in your pineal gland that create electricity in your body and light.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you missed the beginning of the show. I broke down the anatomy of
awesome.
The pineal gland. The pineal gland has it's one of the weirdest glands. It's some reason it has fluid with DMT crystals in it, and these crystals are naturally made, but when they vibrate, they're piezoelectric. So if they malform or vibrate, or you get the right motion into it, or they get compressed, they create electricity. So not only do they create electricity, they also have a way they can make light, and they can actually make color. There are piezochromatic cells, and there's piezoluminescent cells, and that's just crazy. No other tissue creates electricity, light, and colors, that I know of in the body. And also, it has photoreceptors, and it has cones and rods like an eyeball, they're pineal sites that are very similar. And I mean, what the hell? No tissue has all that stuff going on. So there's something very unique, and to think that it would be in the very center of your brain, protected, like connected to everything. Everything runs around through it. So it's a fascinating little gland, honestly.
Oh yeah. I think we'll learn a lot more. Well, let me say this. I would think we would learn a lot more in the future, but it does seem like a lot of the information that you find that proves these types of spiritual things, it's kind of strange because it seems like certain, I don't know, groups of people go to great lengths to kind of say that it doesn't. You know, they kind of, it's always argued against. It's always made to seem like people are crazy for thinking that way, you know? And that does bother me a little bit. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that if somebody uses psychedelic drugs, they're automatically like, oh, you're just a hippie and you just like using them. You know, they're not like, they never go back and look at the history of, oh yeah, you know, shamans have been using them thousands of years to connect. Why? They just kind of ignore that. You're just the hippie that wants to live in a van and smoke pot or whatever.
Down by the river.
Down by the river, yeah. It's easy to box people in. So there you go.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions in the chat, boy, the chat's swelled. I'm picking up a lot of people late. If you missed the beginning of the show, I'm sorry. We have talked about the third eye. I went in the anatomy. I went in all the kind of cool stuff. If you missed it, you need to go back and watch it because I can't keep rehashing it continuously. But now we are talking, and we also talked about how it got blocked and how is calcification real, the fluoride calcification. And I talked about, you know, there is a difference between different kinds of fluoride, and the water, the one the toothpaste. I'm convinced they're both bad. I'm not really a big fan of any kind of fluoride, really, but there's some that are worse than others. And then we talked about different ways and different theories of breaking it open, different kinds of ways to eat and diets, and we talked about using vibration. We talked about using some monks and stuff use chanting. They do the whole, you know, Om, and they try to vibrate it. Burma says there are people that use like bowls that sing, that vibrate. And I had talked about this experience where I went to a sound workshop once at a yoga studio, and they put like 10 bowls out and rang them at the same time, and it shakes your insides. It's crazy to feel vibration, your body vibrate like that. It was awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really neat. You should do it if you ever get a chance. I'd never done anything like that. And some lady was singing too. She was doing like a tones, and your body shakes, your cells shake. It's crazy. It was so cool. So there you go.
Gotta definitely check it out.
Yo, are you streaming later today? You want to shoot? If you stream right after me, you'd probably pick up this audience. There's about 60-something people in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna stream. I'll back on my other channel, and then tonight I'll stream also on UniRock. I'm gonna do my live dive tonight. I missed it last night. I fell asleep too early. I was tired.
All right. Well, you guys make sure you pick up UniRock if you're going to. And let me. Captain Waffles just said a tuning fork is pretty effective. You can actually hear it cracking. So I've got a tuning fork here that's 528. It's a 528. It's supposed to. You know, it says actually DNA repair on it. I don't know if it'll focus in there. Probably not. But anyway, different vibrations can help. And I know there's different ways to do it. Some people put it right to their forehead and they try to actually physically vibrate the pineal. The other way is you'll get a lot better vibration if you hold it in your teeth. It'll really ring. And you feel it like in your whole skull. It's crazy. Different vibrations and different frequencies. So there's two different kind of frequencies. The 528 is kind of like all around DNA healing. They also have a different frequency that is considered like the 6 chakra frequency that's supposed to open that up. I've never tried it though, so I do not know. But if you have the right kind of tuning fork, that would rock. Oh, Jory donated. Hey, man, thanks. You don't have to. You're a Patreon. You don't have to donate. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're digging the show, and that makes the world go round. I appreciate the donations. They keep me on the air. That being said, if there's anything else you guys want to talk about, I will address the questions. But if I don't get anything in the next 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to start winding this down and pass this show to Unirock. Unirock, you want to talk?
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
so I've actually I think my video just went up, so wait to watch it until Doc's done, but because I uploaded it earlier. But anyway, so okay, there's some weird stuff going on, Doc. Philip Morris, the guy that makes Marlboros, L&M, and all these cigarettes, and I'm not trying to change the subject. I just want to tell you this happened. His New Year resolution is to ditch cigarettes. Philip Morris, the tobacco guy.
That's a little irony there.
Yes. Isn't it crazy? And they're actually releasing this in the UK in all these magazines and stuff.
Ah, that is
Tell me that's not nuts.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying. We were talking about that earlier, that the elites that like sell poison to everybody don't let their own families have it. I bet the people like that run fast food don't eat fast food, you know, like the stuff that you probably don't see too many people that I could see that the guy that runs the cigarettes, Philip Morris, probably doesn't smoke now. He wants to get
I
off.
think he did, or I'm thinking, I'm asking myself if he has lung cancer, or if somebody close to him does, and this has like affected his thoughts, or if this other people don't trust it at all. They say that this is just a big ploy. He's trying to get people to buy his vaping pens more, like trying to get them to go away from cigs. He wants people to stop smoking cigs, but he wants people to buy his vaping pens.
Well,
that's what he's saying.
That's a smart move, you know. I mean, because there are less and less people smoking every day, and there are more and more people vaping. And I remember the first time I saw people vape at Pork Fest, probably like 10 years ago, I was like, what the hell is that? And people were like laughing at them. And now it's like super normal. Everybody smokes it. And I mean, vaping, that's a whole nother story. There's plus and minuses, but I will say vaping is leaps and bounds ahead of cigarettes for inflammation.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
not perfect,
the tar.
but it's way better.
Yeah, smokeless. You don't have tar. You don't have the smoke. You only have a little bit of water vapor with a micro. I mean, the amount of nicotine inside the water vapor is very small, chemically at least. So, you know, it is bad for you. I'm not saying it's good for you. It's very bad, but you know, I'd say taking the tar out of it is probably a great step. You know.
Yeah, I mean, right. There's things in vapes that aren't healthy either, but they're like still leaps and bounds ahead of. Cigarettes are bad news, man. There's just like, what do they estimate? Just the filters have something like 200 chemicals that all mix. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, God
and
knows
that in itself seems strange. Why in the world? It's a filter. It needs to be a cotton ball. Why do you need formaldehyde inside a filter? It's weird.
It's crazy. I lived I lived in Radford, Virginia for a while when I went to college. And I worked student teaching in this place called Giles County, which was Selenase was the company, and all they do is make filters for cigarettes. And that county stank so bad from the factory that makes these things. I was like, God, what is going on that it can stink an entire county up to make these filters? Like, what are they putting in these things? So,
yeah, it's like, dude, I used to make filters for my weed. When I smoked weed when I was a teenager, we would use filters. A lot of people yelled at us. They're like, dude, you're taking all the weed out. And I'm like, nah, dude, it's not. But we used to make filters. And you could just use a little bit of cotton and a little piece of cardboard, or just cardboard. And if you just had it packed together, the air would still come through and it'd filter. But here's my thing. I don't understand, and it links back to this whole thing we were saying. In order for there to be a conspiracy on the pineal gland, they have to put chemicals in something to numb the pineal gland. And I mean, is this how they're doing it also? I mean, I can say that when I smoked cigarettes, my mind was, and people are going to get mad at me for saying this, but guys, I'm just telling you the truth. I really felt like I was more weighed down in my mind. Like my mind was more saturated with junk when I was smoking cigs instead of vaping. I still feel like it's saturated to all hell, but still, you know, I feel like I can think better. I could be wrong. It could be something. Maybe I am eating something different, but my whole thing is, and I know a lot of you love cigarettes. Rachel, my girlfriend, still smokes. So, you know, don't think I'm trying to like bash your cigarettes. I'm not. I just don't understand it. I don't understand why, like, you know, and then with a lot of organic foods, and the sheeple behind it, and I'm not putting anything down here also, but I think that just the sheer fact that they can call non-organic food organic and still spray it with pesticides and still have an organic sticker placed on it, they really just aren't there. The FDA and all these places aren't there to really help us. What it means is that we have to take those types of things into our own hands, you know? People need to do the research themselves and work on it for themselves. So it can inspire you in a good way, but it should be our responsibility anyway. We're making a choice to go and, you know, not distill our own water from rainwater and drink it, and we're making a choice not because we're lazy. And that's what it comes down to. I am too lazy to go bottle my own water and clean it myself, and I am too lazy to grow my own tobacco so that I can make sure that Philip Morris doesn't put anything in it. So I don't know, maybe someday it'll all change, but not until we stop being lazy.
Yeah, and there's always the government in the way as well. Fortunately, I live in New Hampshire, where, you know, a freedom up here is very inspired. There's places you can go that have complete underground cigarette. You know, people that roll their own, to grow their own tobacco, roll it, or they get grown tobacco, roll it, and sell the cigarettes for like a quarter of the price of what's out there. So I mean, if you like your vices, you can make your own. I do it on my channel. I make apple cider, hard cider, and it is like a quarter of the price of what you'd buy for it. It's all taxes and stuff. And if you like your vices, you're welcome to check out my whole brewing section, which is funny because I don't drink, but I still like brewing, so I don't know what that's about. So I just enjoy it. Like, I'll take a sip of it and that's it. I'm good. I just like the fact that I can make alcohol and not have to pay the government. It's great.
Me too, man. I'm mad because I got to pay taxes this year on my YouTube channel.
Oh man. Well, it's
not a lot.
I mean, you probably get all that
make
back.
a lot.
Yeah, you probably get it back.
Yeah, I still got to pay him though. It really pisses me off. No, I'm just kidding. I know. It's like when you have a problem with the government, you don't want to support it with your hard-earned money. I know it sucks.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother talk for another time.
Exactly.
Because boy, you want to watch me get on a soapbox? You can start me on that path. Wow, you want to watch me get fired up? Just start talking about taxes.
We should have a show. Call it the Soapbox Hour or something.
Oh man, you don't even. If you go back to my channel and look like 8 years ago when I'm like bullhorning in a crowd, yelling at people about taxes, woo! I'm not the chill hippie I am now.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Alrighty. So that's all. I think we're gonna. I don't see any questions really coming out. I just see like people talking to each other. But yeah, so I think it's a good place to end the show. We're gonna wind down. And Unirock, what time are you coming on tonight? Or are you gonna come on right after this or not? No.
Well, you'll find me streaming 24/7 on Uni Uprising. But if you want to see my show, it's at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Sometimes it's later. Sometimes it's a little sooner. But
are you actually back on your main channel?
Yes, I am.
When did that happen? When did you get to?
2 nights ago, I did my first show.
Okay, that's
and
why.
And then yesterday I did another, or no, 3 nights ago I did my first show. 2 nights ago I did a second, and yesterday I slept through it. So.
All right. So.
But yeah, it's going really good.
I just subscribed to both shows because it's too hard to keep up with where you're going. So I just.
And I have a Twitch channel where everything. See, my Twitch channel is like every single thing that I stream goes to my Twitch channel. Like right now we're on my Twitch channel, but it's because you're I'm hosting you on my Twitch channel, so it's showing it's showing us. Mm-hmm.
I host you too, so hey, that's cool.
So like if you go to my Twitch, and you don't have to sign up for anything and do all kinds of, you don't have to do anything crazy to go to Twitch and watch videos. That's just a freaking myth. You can just go to Twitch, type in Unirock, type in Doc Lupo, and you can follow us. But if you want to follow us, you will have to create an account. But I urge you to, if you like live shows, because that's what Twitch is, just live shows. Now, everything I stream, and when I go on somebody's show, I host them. So you'll probably, and it does give you the views. Like right now, I'm not getting the views you are. Your Twitch channel is.
Well, I appreciate that. But I do the favor back when I'm not. I host you. You got to team up with each other. It really helps.
And Twitch lets us, which I love, you know. I'd love it if they'd let us do that kind of stuff on YouTube. I doubt they ever will, but that doesn't matter because we've got Twitch. And I just became a Twitch affiliate. I'm working on becoming a Twitch partner.
Very cool, man. Tell me how that goes, because like if you guys know, I've been on a big mission to remove myself from YouTube more and more. Although I'm still here because the crowd's here, but I'm channeling people over to DLive and Twitch and YouNow and other stuff, whatever you guys like. So that's very, very cool. All right, thank you so much, and you guys check him out. I really appreciate that. And he just ran off. Where did you? Did your cat get away? What happened?
I can still hear you. I had to grab my battery. It was just right there. I could hear you though.
Yeah, and the thing about Twitch is, if you sign up for YouTube and you even hit my little bell, it still doesn't notify you sometimes. But if you sign up at Twitch, I get notifications every time Unirock goes live.
Every single time.
Yeah, Twitch is cool like that.
They're on it, man. Well, they want people to come to the shows. They want us there. So They work towards it.
Very, very cool. Now, since you're a partner, does that mean they actually show ads, or like how do they make money?
They'll show ads on everywhere on Twitch. It's just that when you're not working with them, you don't make money from the ads. But they tell you, see, another cool thing about Twitch, anytime you see an ad, they'll tell you who gets the money from the ads. So it'll say like Unirock is getting money from this ad, or Twitch is, or Doc Lupo. So
oh, very cool. No, I have a very small Twitch audience. I have not put the time in to build that. And I'd like to. I just don't know how the hell Twitch works. So I can't figure it out. So I'm working on it.
Well, I think the reason why me and you have a harder time on Twitch is because we have live shows on YouTube. People that have big live shows on Twitch, they only do their live shows there. Yeah. So they do like all produced videos. Yeah, they do all the produced stuff here on YouTube, like Boogie 2988 does all his videos on YouTube, does all his live streaming on Twitch. So he has large audiences both places.
Oh, so he doesn't cross over. I got you. Yeah, it's tough. YouTube's tough because I'm still having problems with just dealing with this place. It makes me nervous. Like Vegan Warrior, I think it's on his 4th channel or something.
Did he get his other? I wonder. See, I was going to ask you that.
I think last time he was on, he came on as something new. So I was like, damn, again, dude. Again? I was like, just go to D Live or Twitch, man. Be done with Twitch. YouTube.
Vegan, bro.
Go. But he can't get up. But it's hard because you build an audience here, and a lot of people won't go with you. They stay. Yeah. You'll only get 10% of the hardcore people that go with you.
And I think that'll change in the future because more and more people are starting to see that, YouTube is definitely, even though they have a good live presence, they're definitely not as in, you can't speak your mind here, but you can on Twitch, is what I'm saying. So,
yeah, there's a story I want to do, but to do it, I have to show a clip, only like 5 minutes of something else, this other video, because someone does this video really good, and I want to take a piece of it and play it, but I can't do it here without losing my channel. So I'm wondering if I should just stream it on Twitch or just say screw it and go to D Live and do it there, and that's the only place you're going to see it. I don't know.
If you upload it now, if you stream it and upload it to Twitch, or if you record it now, that's a good thing to do, because I've got videos on Twitch that I uploaded. They'll be there permanently, always on. They're actually getting me views over there at Twitch, because your live shows will go away after like 2 or 3 months on Twitch, because it's meant to be like the now thing. They want people to get caught up on those live shows, so they give them 2 months on each show, but that's all you get, and then the shows are gone. So I like streaming on YouTube because it keeps a permanent record of my show. But anyway, I think more people are going to go there, and I think we'll get audiences there. I really think we will.
What's your advice? If I want to do this story where I'm going to show a piece of someone else's clip, do I just I just don't even do it on YouTube, or maybe make an announcement like, hey, I'm going to do something you can't see here on YouTube?
Yeah, I'd say do it, the full thing.
Switch it.
Upload it to Twitch, and then take about a minute out of it, put it on YouTube, and then at the end of it say, okay, now the full version of this video is at Twitch at Dr. blah, 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 and bam. And maybe put a link or something, because you can link to Twitch, I think.
Okay, that's a pretty smart way to do it. Just take a clip and then say, see the whole thing, that YouTube's not going to let me show you the whole thing. And like you said, I don't think they have to have a Twitch account. They can just go watch it.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm going to lose my Twitch account or not, because one thing I love doing at Twitch, and I love it, is I like watching YouTube with you guys over at Twitch, because I don't have to worry about copyright strikes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to do. And I know
so we go to Twitch and we'll just watch YouTube. Me and my peeps, we'll just sit there on Twitch and watch YouTube together.
I know I could do it at D Live and possibly YouNow, because I go to YouNow and people are just like streaming music like they don't give a damn. They just play whatever they want and dance into it. But YouNow doesn't save anything. It's just gone as soon as you're done.
Yep.
D Live will let you do it, but they're still new and they're a little glitchy and slow. Sometimes the feed gets hung up and stuff. So I'm not sure where I can go safely to play what I actually want to play. I don't know. It's terrible that we can't just like show 5 minutes of something. It's
yeah. Well, you
copyright
can do it.
Stuff is nuts.
The best way to do that is just write the creator and say, hey, can I please use this much of your video, and I'll credit you. I'll tell people to sub there. But a lot of times when I play other people's stuff, it's not for good reasons. So I'm usually calling them out. So that just happened too.
It's more of a clip from a larger produced movie, not necessarily a movie people would know. I want to take something out of Zeitgeist.
Okay.
But it's really well done. And it's like something that would take me a week to create that's already there. That's a good job. And I'd be happy to be like, this is in Zeitgeist. But I don't know how to find a producer of something that big. You know, how am I going to get permission to do something like that? I just want to show a damn clip. That's it. You know, I don't know why it's so hard to do this.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. Just one of those things, man. In the future, I think we'll have a place that we can go and it's
starting. Like, I'm playing with these other platforms. I don't know if you've been seeing what I'm uploading, but this month I'm giving you guys a tour of the other things. Like, I put a few things on DLive, which is like, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, DTube and DLive, it is a decentralized YouTube. DTube is their version of YouTube. DLive is live streaming. So they're new, but it's considered a blockchain style where you can put it up and it can't be censored. I'm messing with it. It's not. It's got some issues, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Then there's something called Library, which I haven't told you guys about that I'm about to. Library is the absolute coolest, but it is the clunkiest and least user friendly. But the technology behind it's awesome. It's straight up blockchain. Like, there's no way anything would ever disappear or go down. It's awesome. But it's just not user friendly. So all these things have like one good thing, one bad thing. You know, there's not a network I can be like, this is it. You know, they all got something and something else. But I'm taking you guys through that this month. If you're a video creator and you're like, man, I kind of am getting sick of YouTube's crap, then you might want to check these out. But you're pretty happy at Twitch though, so
I'm happy. I'm just happy streaming.
Twitch is still a big company, though. I mean, eventually they're going to start becoming YouTube-like. You know, once they get
they've got bought out by Amazon. It's scary.
Yeah, that makes me wonder about building a big presence there. Is it going to become YouTube in 2 years with copyright crazy strikes and
I'm okay with it. I'm done. I'm done pandering to the rules. I'm just doing what I'm doing now, which is a bad thing to do. So.
Not really, because your audience likes it a lot better. Like, since I stopped caring about audience size and hits and stuff, my audience has rocketed up. So I just stopped caring, and I focused on just making good content, and it's been good. It's just I just wish I want an easier place to put it that I don't feel handcuffed. Like I feel like I can't talk about these things without risking my channel, and that's tough.
It is. It's hard to do anything anymore without that constant worry behind you, which I'm trying not to get comfortable myself. YouTube apologized to me, Doc.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No joke.
What did they say?
They said they were sorry. They sent me a message. They said they were sorry. They released both my videos. They took both strikes away. They said it never should have happened. And ironically, my videos went back. See, I was in the algorithm and growing very fast. Like, I gained 1,000 subscribers in like 12 hours.
Wow.
And then I got censored. I got my stuff censored. Well, listen to this. The night before I got forgiven by YouTube, the night before I got the emails, I went back in the algorithm. I could just tell, like, I was just back in the algorithm. I started gaining 1,000 subscribers a day again. And, right then, my videos seemed to actually start getting clicked by people.
Yeah.
So it was weird. While I was censored, it's like I could tell I wasn't in the algorithm.
Really interesting.
Yeah. It's scary almost. It's a little strange. But yeah, like right now, I put a video out, or let's say like a week ago, I put a video out, I actually get 10 or 20,000 views or something. And like, that's how it used to be. And then all of a sudden now, 3 months go by, while I'm censored, I can't get a single 200 views to save my life. The minute I'm forgiven, I go back up to my normal views. So it's almost like they put a throttle on.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Once you're blacklisted somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You came off the blacklist.
But I will say that I love YouTube, and don't get mad at me ever again, please, because it sucks. Jesus.
Well, I'm saying hi to some friends over here on D Live. I'm actually, this is the very first time I've live streamed where people are talking in the chat. So
oh, you're on D Live right now?
Yeah, I'm mirroring it. Cosmic
Awesome.
Humanity, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming over. Oh, that's sweet. You were my first post in my feed. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. I love you back, Cosmic. And King Dingalinger and Wilson Wee and I Rescuer. I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for giving me some love over at D Live. I'm trying to get my foot established there. Yeah, it's live streaming right now. I made an entire story about this Unirock because it was a disaster trying to set it up and figure out how to restream it. So if you're planning on restreaming it, watch my story. I figured it out. It took me like an hour to figure this crap out.
Do you have to pay?
You do have to pay. You have to buy
Okay.
that's
custom
the one
RMTP.
thing. But I did find a coupon which you told me about, which made it a lot better.
Oh yeah, you've got 11 watching over there. You got 3. You got money there and everything on this video.
Yeah, it's starting. And nobody's here yet, so I might need to sponsor you and get you over here because I'm doing pretty good but it's only like 3 weeks old, so there's not many people live streaming yet, and a lot of it is kind of adult oriented, if I might say so.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only like show besides maybe a few cooking shows that are not so adult. And ladies and gentlemen, if you do go to these networks, understand they're built on a premises of free speech, which means they don't censor, which means there's adult content there. But you can filter it in your feed so you don't have to see it. You can block it out, but it is there. And that's the way it should be to me. I think, you're free to be an adult. You should see whatever the heck you want to see. It's not my choice to censor what you see. So I'm excited to get a foothold there. I hope, I would imagine in a few months it's going to get crowded, but right now it's quiet, and I'm like actually having people. I'm very excited. So, all right. Wow, me and you can BS. We BS for like 30 minutes when I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn the show off, and we just sit around. Tracy wants to know why I was talking about her. Tracy, I had talked about your comment on the LSD versus the DMT. Oh no, yeah, that's what it was, I think. Anyway, so I was messing with you and making jokes.
I can't log in to Steam it. Damn it! What's my password? This is weird.
I don't know your password, but I'd love it if you want to follow me and drop a thumbs
have
up over at
already.
D Live. Drop me a
I'm trying
thumbs
to
up.
go there, but I have an account. I just can't open it. I don't know what the hell's
You always
going on.
forget your damn passwords, dude.
I know it. I know it.
I have the same problem. I have passwords everywhere. They're all different. Tracy says, Doc, acid creates a place made up by your brain. Everything familiar to some extent, though warped. DMT shows you colors you've never seen and things that you have no name for. A place that you will never explain. Very interesting. Thanks for, like I said, I don't use drugs, so I don't know these things. I just kind of report what other people say. But I'm fascinated with it. That I find it really interesting. That thanks for sharing your experience. Because anytime you want to chime in, I'm a complete noob, and really just what it is about the drugs is it is such a running theme that people are like, why the hell do you want to spend your whole life in meditation when you can get there in 30 minutes with mushrooms? And it's like, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So it's one of those things that I'm willing to listen to just because I believe, I don't believe in the hype, the anti-drug hype that's out there. I think drugs are illegal so you don't reach a shared consciousness, because if you did, there would be no leaders or controllers. If everybody did it, don't do it at home unless you got big balls. What do you mean, Tracy? So you're saying if you trip, don't do it alone. You want to do it in a group of people or something? I assume that's what you're talking about.
There's my Steemit account. I just found it. I wonder how I reset my password.
Miss Waffle says we'll be going to see Barry someday. Captain Waffles, I'll go with you to see Barry. Hell yeah! I just want to go to Mexico. Hell yeah! I mean, the drug stuff's fun, but I want to go to Mexico. All right, so I did want to mention Miss Waffles wants me to invite everybody over to the Afterglow chat. I will need a few minutes to process video, so I won't be there right away, but there's no reason you guys can't keep chatting if you want to go into the Afterglow. That is, if you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a service kind of like Skype. It's called Discord, where you can go in and just talk via voice. And I've got a chat room over there that people like to go to after the show and hang out and chat. So if you want to go, Miss Waffles, you can start dropping that link in here, and hopefully that works. And if you guys want to join, she'll talk you through that and how to get in there if you're new. But it's a great way to meet people and talk about in a nice, friendly place where people won't harass you and troll you. Half Q says, I got stuck on the toilet once for like 25 minutes. Then I rolled off the end. Are you talking about a DMT experience, Half Q? That'll be that's pretty funny. Tracy says,
oh, shit.
DMT can be a bit hairy, scary. Believer, do a drug on your own, dangerous. I think you know, most people say to start with mushrooms, because the mushrooms, I've not heard too many people have a negative experience with mushrooms. They're usually very positive, giggly, colorful. And they can be, if you're sensitive to it and you need your pineal blown open, they can really help you cross over with. That's my understanding. You guys will have to talk to the drug experts, but that's what I'm hearing. What did you say, Uni? What do you?
I can't lie. I think I lost when my PC crashed. I think I lost my Steemit password, and
it
seems
a long
like I'm
password.
No, there's no. It says there's no way to get it back if you lose it.
It's in an old email. Whatever email it went to, you can search it.
I'm trying. It won't. It's not letting me. But let me try it on. If I search my Gmail
because
online.
I'm actually signed up to your account, but you don't post much on Steemit, so.
Yeah, I need to log in so I can do that every day.
You should, because the Steemit is doing. I was kind of lukewarm. I was on Steemit like a year ago, and I didn't really do much. I made a few posts. And then I went in there and I was like, why the hell do I have $800 in Steemit? And it was because I made posts a year ago. The Steemit dollar has gone up like 8 times the currency. So just posting over there and getting people to, when people like you and tip you and stuff, it helps, man. The Steemit dollar is doing quite well. So I'm spending more and more time over at Steemit and DLive. I feel like I'm a little late to the game on that, though. I probably could have been a whale if I had gone all in the beginning, but I didn't. So now I'm just picking up the pieces. I'm always late to the party. I'm always late, but I'm not late to DLive, and I'm not late to Library. I'm very excited about Library. I'm waiting to see what happens with that. But I'm in there, and I think you should start posting. I sent you an invite to start publishing on Library. I think you might dig it too, although it's quiet. All right. Did you say something? I didn't mean to interrupt you, Uni. Go ahead.
Oh no. I found my old where I created my Steemit account, but it doesn't have anything that I can do here.
Yeah, you might have to make a new one or something. I don't know.
Yep. It's okay.
You don't have much posted over there. Yeah, you could just start a new one and somehow back it up. Tracy says she's very well behaved, folks. Don't listen to her now. These days, yeah. Everybody, it's funny. We have a lot of people that live like rock stars on this show. Now we're all older. We're all like, yeah, I'm too tired to do that stuff now. But back in the day. Miss Waffle's going to keep dropping the link. If you want to go over there, you can start going into the chat. I'm going to start winding down the show here, and I'm going to talk about this. These are all the alternative platforms I'm on. I got to rearrange this. It's kind of messy there. So, anyway, if you haven't seen any of these, we were talking about them earlier. DTube, I'm actually kind of starting to like DTube, and Steemit, it's a decentralized YouTube. Steemit is kind of like a Reddit. If you guys like blogging, reading at Reddit, it's like a Reddit without rules. And it actually pays you to blog, which is kind of cool in crypto. Library and Speech. Woo! I don't know why I can't point the right way. This way. There we go. Library and Speech over here. I'm going to do a story about them very soon. Library is completely decentralized blockchain technology. Very cool, but still very beta. Mine's is like a decentralized YouTube. It is like a Facebook. It is like Facebook without algorithms and rules. So you will have free speech. You will be able to put a post up without it being downgraded and disappearing by some mystery algorithm. Minds is cool if you like that Facebook experience. You like Minds. But if you do go through Minds, please look in my description below. There's like an affiliate link. Doesn't cost you a thing, and it just they throw me a little cryptocurrency for the referral, and that lets me. It helps the show. So I would appreciate if you do check out Minds to go through my link, please. BitChute is also kind of neat. It's an experimental, decentralized kind of blockchain YouTube. It's also similar to DTube. I'm starting to dig both of them. I'm going to spend more time and experiment, so I hope you guys will check those out. You can find links to me on all those alternative platforms in the description below, and you can friend me and like me over there, and I'll hang out with you guys. Oh, we got some more stuff for you guys talking. Okay. Yep, 5.7 says, my mushroom trip 15 years ago was enlightening but scary at the same time. Made me realize at the moment what I was doing and not doing with my life, and thereafter came the bad trip. I mean, to me, I've heard people tripping, and it really it holds a mirror up to your life, and they come back a different person. So one way or another, there can be very positive uses from it. Okay, which I'm actually allowed to talk about on BitChute and BitChute and DTube. I can actually talk about these drug experiences. All right, Rock, you want to say anything before I jump out of this show?
Nope. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate you guys. Hope to see everybody in my live show tonight. Come hang out.
Yeah, I'll swing by for sure.
Yep, we've been having fun.
And if you want me to get on air, let me know. I might be able to swing in for a little bit. If I don't know what's your topic tonight.
Oh, I'm probably going to talk about the 3 things I talked about in my video that I put up a few minutes ago. Okay. The people smoking, or that whole thing of Philip Norris, and the net neutrality conspiracy, that net neutrality is actually really bad for the internet, and they're trying to fool us with it and all this stuff.
Okay. Oh, I've got one question before we go. It says, Luke Johnson says, can you guys address the hand issue? I'm not sure what hand issue. Are you talking about your hands look crazy? Yeah. Anyone else's thumbs look weird when they're tripping? I guess you mean when you're tripping? Unirock, you got a lot more experience in this than me. Do you know why your hands get all crazy?
Yeah, of course. The one thing that acid has a huge effect on is the part of your brain that deals with shapes. That's why when you look at a wall or some other pattern, your brain has a hard time pulling shapes together. And you'll see all kinds of different stuff. Like my friend had a wall that was done with a sponge. You've seen those sponge walls.
Yeah.
And you can feel it, they have this texture to them. And I remember when I was like 16 and tripping and went in his bathroom and looked at it, and I could see a bunch of skeletons dancing around, like little tiny ones. And
whoa.
It was just because my brain wasn't, I swear to God. And it was like a skeleton party on the wall. And it was because my brain was putting these little patterns together for some reason into little skeletons. And, it just looks, every time I looked at it, it just seemed funky. So yeah, when you look at things, especially hands and other things, your brain's trying to see a hand, because that's what the shape is, and it's having a hard time due to the chemical in your brain, and it's grabbing at all kinds of shapes. So, yeah.
Oh, all right. Luke continued to go about, he's talking about when it's sober. Is there a Mandela effect with the hands? I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to ME in a while. You know what? Drop a picture of your hands over at the Afterglow, and we'll take a look at them and see. It's a lot easier to see a picture than try to read it. We'll be happy to address that. All right. I am done. You guys will not stop. They just keep going.
Are you going to Afterglow?
Yeah, Miss Waffles is dropping the link like crazy to the Afterglow. If you guys want to keep chatting, it's like a bar, right? I always say that you don't have to stop drinking, but you can't stay here. Bar's closing, so moving on over to Afterglow. I want to finish up here. One more thing I would like to talk about, and that is this right here. Is the man, I can't seem to get these things in order. The Afterglow, excuse me, if you're still watching this on YouTube, because this is going to be in a rerun form, if you're watching it, you're going to see stories appearing here, clicking. I'd appreciate if you want to go catch some other live shows. Those boxes will be appearing right now. The other thing is you'll notice right here is a Patreon logo. If you are a veteran of the show and you're not new, then I would appreciate you guys maybe considering a Patreon. You can do it for as little as $1 a month, and it helps me get off the YouTube welfare, the teat of their ad money. I'd really like to move away from such an unstable platform for my income. So Patreon, and I'll be putting up cool things coming up in a month or two, so I'd appreciate if you check it out. You can find that link in the description, or you'll actually see it appearing right now if you're watching this in the rerun. This little button, and click these boxes here to keep watching. So thank you guys. Love y'all. Take care of each other, support each other, and be nice to that cat. I gotta go find my cat because he's freezing. It's -10 here today, so I'm gonna split. Bye.
See ya.